Hello and welcome to another episode of It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where three friends with varying degrees of nerd knowledge get together once a week to have a chat about all things geek. My name is Rich Gittins, and joining me this week and every week, it's my buddy Chris Lom. Come out, Lummy.
Hello.
How you doing? Episode 25, dude.
Is
episode
it really?
25 episodes.
Feels like 21 again.
Oh, now you got the keys to the door. How you doing? How's your week been? Lots of gigs, been busy?
Yeah, back gigging, and I did an improv course as well for some lovely people, so teaching them how to make stuff up, so that were nice as well.
And how's that? Do you have to kind of sort out risk assessments and things like that if you're bringing people into that sort of scenario? Is it lots of paperwork and red tape and...
It's all red tape, yeah. Got to
all red tape.
All red tape.
Oh, man.
Dotting the I's and crossing the T's and, all that stuff.
What are you drinking this week, Lummy? What you got? What's quenching your thirst this week?
I've got a cup of...
a cup of Darth Vader? A cup of Darth Vader.
And I've also got for later... Got cherry.
Oh, look at that! Cool. Yeah, I'm on some summer fruits barley this week.
Oh, have you got a bad throat?
No, I just like it. What does it sound like? I've got a bad throat, or is that something you drink that helps?
It's just my throat were a bit funny today, so I thought, so I'll just check in.
Brilliant. Yeah. So my throat's a bit sore. So my mate 300 miles away, he might have a sore throat as well. It just
inspired me to ask how your throat was. That's all.
Oh, bless you, crikey. That's moving on. Let's get Webby out. Come on out, Webby. I don't know.
How's your throat?
How's your throat, Webby?
Look at that. Little Robin's been learning to spell. That's the first thing he came out with. I swear to God, I did not. I didn't lead him down that path.
Oh, dude. The context of this, ladies and gents, is that tonight we're going to be doing a best and worst Chevy Chase, and we're going to be having a retrospective look at the Lord of the Rings films. Welcome, everybody. Whoa.
That might be your context. I had no idea about this. Just the way I feel about Chevy Chase. I just wanted everybody to know.
Well, I like Chevy Chase.
I know.
Everybody's a bit of a dickhead.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be an interesting conversation later on. I think I'm looking forward to it.
Throughout the course of this show, Lummy, that you are the bleeding heart here. Do you know what I mean? You genuinely you stick up for the underdog. It's really sweet.
Sometimes.
Other times you're kicking that underdog. Just kick it down.
And welcome everybody to the show tonight. Feel free to leave a comment, come and say hello, building a community here, ladies and gentlemen. So what's been going on with you this week, Webb?
With me? It's been a crazy ride this week. We've had everything. We've had parties. No, we haven't parties. That was last week or the week before. I'm losing my weeks. What happened? Robin got ill. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Hospital, didn't he?
We had a stressful couple of days, man. Really, really stressful. We thought he had the Rona, but it was a false alarm. No Rona.
So what was it? Do you know?
It was a chest infection and a sty in his eye. But when we were on the phone to 111, because of the swelling in his eye, they were like, "Get him to hospital."
Right.
So we got there to find out that only one parent's allowed with him, and Joe drew the short straw, which was actually probably the better thing to do because she's not as distracted as I am and stuff, So she was able to parent. But yeah, it wasn't a nice feeling having to come home without him and sit here waiting, like worrying and stuff. But then when the doctor finally came round, he was all right. He just didn't even give him any bloody medicine or anything. So yeah.
When the doctor came round, had he passed out? Had he been drinking?
Yeah, probably. It was late, man. We didn't get there till about 11:15, and there were a 3.5 hour wait, so he probably fell asleep.
Wow.
He had a little nap. 5 hours, Joe's saying. 5
hours.
Well, it said 3.5 hour
correction
wait.
Just in. Yeah, 5 hours. Crikey.
So, on the plus side, we then had a lovely couple of days off, sort of looking after him and having family time, watching some movies and, trying to get him better. And it was great.
A little tip, I don't know if you know this, right? If you ever need to go to hospital, if you can go on a tracker and see which has got the lowest wait time.
Son of a bitch.
Did you know that?
We didn't. It was one of them 11 o'clock at night, throw some stuff in a bag, try and remember stuff.
Get into the nearest A&E.
But the only reason I say that is you can usually ones that people can't get to on bus routes, and they can drive to, they're usually a lower waiting time.
Little tip for you there, guys. You know, don't say we don't care. I tell you what, but listen, I'd like to give a little shout out to Uncle Alfie, who was staying over that night for a job interview the next day in Leeds. And he was really helpful and really kind and helped us get there and sorted us out. It was not really nice of him. So I just want to say cheers, Uncle Alfie.
And he's actually got a new business venture, hasn't he, Alfie?
He has, yeah. He's roasting up some coffee beans in his kitchen.
What's the name of the company? Let's give him a little plug.
It's called Rustique.
Rustique. That sounds exotic. Sounds exotic. Rustique.
Joe sent me an invite to that the other day, and I thought, what the fuck's this?
Now you know, Lummy.
I know.
He started it, I think, with a couple of mates. He's just, you know, he's a trained barista, but he really sort of got into coffee. So he's started to, what does he do? Smoke his own beans? Is that right? I think roast his beans. He's roasting beans.
Nice. I love the smell of roast. I used to live by a little coffee house and it used to roast its own coffee beans. I used to wait for that. Oh, man.
Beans in the morning.
Well, if you know your beans,
it's great.
If you know your beans, you've had these beans, Rich. I'm pretty sure they're monsoon Malabar beans from India, and they gave me a little free sample of it the other day, and it was very tasty coffee indeed. It's gone now.
So there you are. Well,
a testament to its goodness.
Go and get your coffee from Rustique. There you are. Look at
I will like it now as well. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been like a porno site, or I don't know.
You know what?
Yeah, it could have been. Could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been hacked.
Yeah.
So anyone else any dodgy scam phone calls through over the last few weeks? There's been a huge rise in them, apparently.
I get that one where they ring and then don't say out and then they just hang up. I've had that loads.
Sorry,
what's that got to do? You know, what's that about?
I'll tell my mum to stop calling. She can't help herself.
Just tell her to say hello. I don't mind her ringing, man.
She's nervous. She gets shy. She knows what a big time star you are.
Tell her to say just like.
What about you, Webby? Are you getting any of these?
I have had a couple. The ones I usually get are, we've been told you've been in a car accident in the past 4 years. I'm like, I don't drive, dickhead.
So I've got two ways.
We got this big team. Hello.
Hey, big team. Nice to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it was lovely. And it was Father's Day yesterday, so I got a lovely present as well, which we'll talk about later.
Nice.
And I'm not stressed this week. This week I've managed to eat my tea, get the kid to bed who's actually sleeping. He's not just pretending and fucking about. He's actually asleep. So it makes a massive difference. It's been a lot less stressy this week. But what I'm going to say, other scam call I've had is the other day, a lady phoned me and kindly offered me a new phone. I'm like, who are you? You're not even from the phone company. I've just had it. If you were from the phone company that I am with, which I won't mention,
know that
advertising big brands. You'd know that I just literally just got a phone. Literally, just what you talking? Just leave me alone. I was really rude to her.
Have you had that one where they ring and say you were waiting for you to ring doctors back? So we've got your test results that you haven't rung about for the past year. You had that one.
No.
They keep ringing, and you're like, fuck off.
Maybe you should take that one, big guy.
Yeah, I think that might just be you. I think that might be.
That one. Oh.
There might be something up.
No, I find my favourite way of dealing with those is either to hold my phone next to my smoke alarm and test my smoke alarm, because normally they're wearing headsets in the call centres. Fucking hell! I'm just like, yeah, fuck you. I'm going to give you tinnitus, bitch. Or I go. I had my favourite one was the other week when they said, "Oh, you've been in an accident." I went, "Yeah. How did you know?" And they were like, "Oh, hang on, we'll put you through to somebody." And that voice, that robotic voice, is like a little robot child. It's really creepy. And they put me through to someone. And this guy's like, "Hello, have you been in an accident?" I'm like, "Yeah. Oh, please help me. Oh God, the children's fingers are underneath the windscreen wipers, and I'm really drunk and I don't know how to do it." Click. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. They've stopped calling me since then. Funnily enough.
Oh, brilliant. Well, if they ever call you back, tell your doctor's story from a few months ago.
Yeah, that'll make them hang up quick.
Just say you deserve this. I'll just tell you the full story. No editing. Even Joe's chuckling at that one.
There's a little story that I've only shared between two mates and the internet. Right, here you go. Are you sitting comfy? Right. Okay. So the news this week, gentlemen. So I saw the Mobius trailer today, and I was like, guys, you've seen the Mobius trailer? And Webby was like, yeah, like a year ago.
At least a year ago, yeah.
And of course, it's one of those films that's been delayed because of coronavirus. I'm assuming, and
Not
I guess
because it's shit.
I think it looks like a good film. I quite like it. I don't know. I don't know much about. I don't know much about Mobius. I know obviously it's like a vampiric
Spider-Man bad guy,
creature.
pretty much. Spider-Man's fought him numerous times. Vampire, basically a reworking of Dracula.
So in this story, it's a guy who's trying to cure himself of some sort of degenerative disease that he's got, and he ends up giving himself sort of some vampiric mutation. Is that all? Do you know much more about it? Have you read many?
That's about the gist of the comic books, man. I've only read a couple of Mobius. He's not a regular bad guy, but when he is there, it always escalates a Spider-Man story into slightly more like Batman, a bit darker. There's not much joking around in it like there is usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the possible connections to the MCU. Maybe have a bit of Spider-Man in there in the background.
What about you? Sorry, go on.
It's all right.
What about you, Lummy? Do you know much about Mobius? Have you encountered?
I've never followed it, Mobius. No, I don't know what you're on about. So
I think you'd recognise him from the Spider-Man animated cartoon. He was quite a big. He's got a very vampire.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
No, later than that. Later one, the one that came out in the early 90s.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was in the early 90s.
Didn't you like that one? Look at me.
I haven't even seen it. I'm pure Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
What,
There was a vampire though in one of them.
Dude, I hadn't seen them all, man, for a long time.
There was also one with Nazis in it that you can bet you're starting on Disney Plus.
Oh, all right.
So, did you? What did you think about that? So, there's a little scene at the end of the trailer, and you said it wasn't in it sort of 18 months ago when you saw it, Webby.
I don't believe so, no. Yeah.
And it shows Adrian Toomes, the character that Michael Keaton played. Vulture, yeah, absolutely. So what do you think about the ideas that this might be kind of further proof that the MCU and Sony sort of Spider-Verses are in the same?
You know what I've learned in the past few years is sometimes the internet's right. Sometimes the internet is like ahead of itself. And right now there's all these rumors coming out and people go, nah, that can't happen. And then it happens. A la Batman, the Justice League Supercut and all that stuff. So in my opinion, Sony have seen that, yes, they own a lot of Marvel properties and they could do whatever they want with them. Fantastic Four, Venom, a couple of other Spider-Man bad guys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've seen the value in actually releasing some of it back to Marvel to interconnect it. So therefore, if the Vulture is in Mobius, it's altogether plausible that there'll be a link to Spider-Man at some point.
That's the thing. So I went and had a little Google just to see, because obviously he's playing whatever character Michael Keaton is playing in that trailer acts very similarly to the character he's playing to the Vulture. And a little Google, and actually in the cast list it shows that he is playing Adrian Toomes, which is obviously the character of the Vulture. So it is him. So
maybe they're going to throw us a curveball and Batman will be in it. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? Maybe they'll just chuck it, because maybe that's why Michael Keaton's in it. He's going to be Batman in the Spider-Man. Nobody saw it coming. He's in Spider-Man Marvel world, but I don't know.
I can't see that happening. Yeah,
speaking of Warner Brothers, though, did you see all the people going crazy that they'd put the banners up on I think it's new Warner Brothers Studio tour thing, and they've put like the Michael Keaton Batman, the Christopher Reeve Superman, and everybody's going, why ain't the new Superman and Batman up there? Why aren't the new ones up there? They should put them new ones up. And like loads of people coming in and just like, what?
Wow.
People jump on board some right stupid shit. It's really bizarre.
Wow.
Well, I mean, if they can just stick to who Batman's gonna be for 2 fucking minutes, maybe we'll get somewhere. But right now, last one we saw
go
was
for the original, innit? Yeah, put the original one up there because they're done.
That's not changed. Yeah, it's
But they put Aquaman up as well, a big banner of that, and Harley Quinn and who was the other one? Oh, Wonder Woman, of course. Put them up, but it was all like from the first time they'd been cast, so that made sense really to me. But all these
they are definitely DC do seem to be bamboozling people with their strategy for these movies.
But do you think there is a strategy for the DC movies, or do you think it's just little passion projects that people are getting signed off on and they're doing them, and there's nobody there linking everything up together?
No, they don't know what they're doing. They're just all over the place, aren't they, with it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
But the thing is, when you look at the DC universe, I mean, really, what have you got in terms of content? And I'm probably going to get shot down now, but what have you got in terms of content that rivals the MCU? I mean, you've got Batman.
Character-wise, all of it.
Yeah.
Character-wise, all of it does. Yeah, Batman, Wonder Woman. Yeah, character-wise. But what they've actually done with those characters is what lets it down. And I'm not sure why. I mean, I really didn't mind the first Wonder Woman film, but that second one was unbelievably bad.
I still haven't seen it because of your guys' reaction.
I've just realised we're missing the comments here.
I think maybe you should watch it, Rich, just to see if you think we're
brilliant. Awesome. Nice one, Big T.
Yeah,
it's a really good film. I rewatched it.
That again, actually.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Spider-Man animated TV show.
Yeah, I like it too. That's the one with the best theme tune as well.
Awesome. It is on Disney Plus, definitely. They're all on there. And Spider-Man Unlimited.
Is it the one with the CGI buildings in the background, the computer generated?
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was before that.
I have seen a bit of
it's really rudimentary CGI, dude, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all CGI in the background. Yeah. Potentially more than that as well, if they get, if the rumors are to be believed, it could be coming. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see Flash zoom forward in time and meet older Michael Keaton, Batman. That'd be quite cool.
Michael Caine, Batman.
Yeah, he took over.
Some people's brains would explode if that happened. I'm the Batman now. You'd be like,
this is it. So they can still surprise us. Just need to take a risk. Roll the dice.
Hello. I heard my name mentioned. I just really say I love the show, guys.
Thanks, Michael Caine. Sorry, Sir Michael.
Sir Michael, yeah, nice to see you pop along.
Sir Michael, you show me.
I corrected myself, Michael. I'm sorry. I'd like to see a movie where
Michael, Jesus, man.
Sorry, I'd like to see.
I'm never coming on this fucking show again. Well done.
You say that, I bet you do. I bet you end up coming back on. I'd like to see a movie made, right? Never mind all this DC and Spider-Man and Marvel shit. I'd like to see a movie where all the current Knights of the Realm, like Elton John and Tim Rice and fucking Paul McCartney and Michael Caine, actually
have to
get called. Have to go and do something. You
get called in to slay a dragon or something. That'd be amazing, man.
It would be really good.
Any bloody writers out there? Well, I can't be asked.
Let's make it. I'll tell you what.
Let's make it so.
Copyright the idea right now. Just say it's copyrighted.
Copyrighted.
We'll do it as a comic book.
Turn around, touch the ground. Copyrighted. That's how it works, right? Legally, that is what it takes. You can no longer post it to yourself, and that used to be the way, wasn't it? That's how I
think you still can do that if you get it recorded delivery.
I think it would be hilarious though if you had some sort of like, what's he called? What's the guy who trains Batman in Batman Begins? The Liam Neeson character. Before you find out, spoiler alert, that he's Ra's al Ghul. That Ducard.
That guy. Ra's al Ghul. Yeah.
No. He's got a fake name at the beginning, so you don't know it's Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul. Anyway. I'd like to see him come out of the woodwork and have to train like Elton John in dragon fighting. And then the first time he fights the dragon, he gets his ass totally kicked. Just bring on the next night.
His wig just
yeah. Anyway, that's my big idea for the week.
Well, this week, some set photos or some character photos have come out from the Obi-Wan TV show. And I don't know if you guys have had a chance to have a look at some of the photos of Ewan McGregor.
Not seen these yet. No, let's bring it on. Let's have a look.
I don't know what order they're in, but let's just bring them up. There he is.
Oh, he looks really good.
I'm kind of more intrigued in what book he's reading, but it's
probably something about motorbikes or heroin. Or something.
It'll be what do you call it? Train Spotting 3.
Yeah. Do you think that Ford Focus in the background is Obi-Wan's?
I'm not sure about that cape he's wearing and that headgear. I mean, it looks a bit modern.
It looks like he's come out at Barbers and they forgot to take that.
He absolutely has just come out of makeup and that's definitely a makeup and hair robe that he's wearing.
They do this in order to hide the costumes from all paparazzi.
You'll see in the next few photos they're all wearing sort of a version of that's him as well as Ewan McGregor as well.
You sure it's not? There was a stunt double kicking around as well, wasn't there?
I like his boots, man.
They are cool.
Yeah, I'd wear them.
Very.
Oh, there he is.
Here we are. Yeah.
Does that got his phone? Can't see it.
He's also got two phones with him.
I can't believe they've taken a photograph in front of a sign that says photography restricted. These guys just don't give a shit, do they? Unless it doesn't say that.
Well, it might say geography restricted.
Yeah,
pornography restricted.
Pornography restricted.
That's why he's got that book.
It might not even be restricted.
It's like trophy restricted. It's all right. It's Ewan McGregor. No chance of him having any trophies.
Oh, bless. Come on, underdog boy.
Stick it up for him.
That's a bit of a dig at you. And why is he not going to get any trophies?
Because he's shit.
No, come on.
All right. It's sometimes shit. I mean, we talked about this the other week.
Shit. It's definitely not shit. You have more of a bugbear with.
I do. I've got a problem with his choices. Lazy ass film.
That's fair. His first
when he's good,
films
he's
he picked
very,
were
very good. Yeah, when he's good, he's good. I've heard good things about this latest thing he's done about the fashion designer. It's a series.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard that he's pretty good in that. But he also took a lot of flack for it because the character's gay and he's not gay.
Which we covered that whole topic last week as well.
Yeah, we did, but it's still ongoing. Yeah, people are easily upsettable these days.
I watched a thing with Ewan McGregor and what's he called, Pedro Pascal out of Mandalorian.
Okay.
They were chatting about the Obi-Wan series and that, and they were talking about filming effects. It was quite good. It's worth watching on YouTube if anybody gets a chance.
Nice.
And he said he's really enjoying going back to Obi-Wan and playing it again. You know, he said he didn't realise how good he'd feel doing it. But then he said he got to work with, it's not a spoiler, this is it, because we know when it's set. In fact, there you go. Stormtrooper. He says he was like a kid when he saw Stormtroopers on set because obviously he's not done a film with them before.
I think there's a picture of an officer there as well. I think there's.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
the iconic hat.
Yeah,
nice hat.
Is it something like that?
And a Porsche in the background as well. Porsche.
I say Porsche, but I'm a div, so don't listen to me.
I say Porsche, but I say Seeger.
Yeah, but you say Seeger, so it's.
I call it a Porsche.
I mean, by all means, Ewan McGregor, prove me wrong. Come on, bring it for Obi-Wan. You got some. You've got some prequels to fucking.
Do you think he's going to play the character in the same style that he played?
No, I think I think released from the shackles of George Lucas and the people that were controlling those prequel movies, I reckon he's going to flourish when he's not in front of a fucking green screen all the time.
Who's directing this series? Do we know?
Can't remember.
It's somebody who's done some of the Mandalorian, I think, in it.
I
can't remember.
However, I want to say Deborah Chow, but I don't know who that is.
Yes. In which case she does lots of action stuff as well. Deborah Chow.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, brilliant, cool. For that.
Amazing, isn't it? What information you retain.
Yeah, it is. But I'm getting more and more fascinated from these photos taken from behind a fence somewhere as somebody's walking around.
He's what age is he now? He must have been here in
50.
How old was Alec Guinness when he was doing Star Wars?
I reckon he's probably around coming up to the same age that Alec Guinness would have been in the.
It's amazing how different they look, isn't it?
Do you think he's going to try and get his voice a bit closer to thingy now? Do you think he's going to try and give it that extra oomph.
I think he thought his voice was pretty fucking close in the prequels. I honestly do. I think he thinks he did a really good Alec Guinness, and he didn't. In my opinion, I don't think he did. However, Obi-Wan wasn't the worst thing in those movies, so I have to put him a lot of slack.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
But
I
speaking,
think it'd be interesting. We'll see.
Speaking of taking dodgy pictures through a fence of Hollywood stars, Lummy has been chastised this week for taking photos of Harrison Ford. What was it like getting told off by Harrison Ford in London this week, Lummy?
I know you keep pursuing this joke of yours, but I'm not going to take the bait because it wasn't me. I said last week I wasn't going to go to the Indiana Jones set and be thrown in with those assholes.
And then he did a Cameron out of Ferris Bueller, and it was like, nope, you're just gonna keep bugging me.
So I didn't go and stalk him, and I'm glad I didn't because like you, Rich, I like to be a professional in the field of acting, so I'd like to meet these people on your own merits. If you never do that, so be it.
I think he's still hankering for the day when he's on set and Harrison Ford walks up to him and goes, "Hey, nice job, kid. You pretty good." And they'll be like, it's funny you say that. I've resisted talking to you throughout this whole shoot, but you're the reason I got into movies, Harrison. Is that it? That's the dream, right?
No, I think Lummy would be like, turn around and do a Harrison Ford impression right back at him or something like that, or just do something really awkward. What was the most awkward thing that you could do, Lummy, do you think, that would, if you met Harrison Ford?
I won't be awkward. I'll be professional. Don't get a rise out of me.
I've known you for 25 years, dude.
I wouldn't have, I never got these. We were talking about this web the other day, weren't we, about autographs. Why were we talking about that?
Because we were talking about the Ray Parks down at the
but also there was it was because one of the articles I read this week was a kid who was 18 years old, this little ginger kid, has got hundreds of celebrity photographs and selfies and autographs, and he was the kid that Harrison Ford knocked back and said, "I'm not signing any autographs." And the kid believed he had a chance until this paparazzi guy got in Harrison Ford's face, and after 2 weeks of being in England, being folled by paparazzi.
And being very patient about it. I mean, it's not.
Time he snapped and he said, "Look, I'm finished. I want to go in and go fuck yourself."
We're outside the hotel on it like for 2 weeks. This guy's been like following him. But the kid, he's had photos with all these celebrities, so he's just another notch on the bedpost, isn't it? For him, because he went and you remember Tom Cruise were up North Yorkshire. He got a photo with him and everybody like that. So he's just been collecting all these things, and these are the kind of fans where you think, all right, give it a rest.
I've
met a few people like that. Obviously, I won't give names, but
me too, man.
I've met a few fans like that, and it does put you off. But
did you give them your autograph though?
No, I mean fans of other stuff.
Oh, you'll sign out. Don't lie. There used to be a guy.
I'll tell you what, I did meet once. I'll give you a little story. When I did Russell Hour's Good News, there you go. Yeah. Right, literally 2 days later, I was at this Hull comic fair, and this guy came, this little lad came past. He went, "You were on Russell Howard the other night?" And I didn't know what to say. I went, "Oh yeah." I said, "Oh, nice one, yeah." And I thought, do I do some impressions for him? I didn't know what to do. It was so weird.
Should have just lifted his t-shirt and said, "Which titty do you want me to sign, mate?"
I genuinely thought, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to say. So I went, and then he came back later with his mates and he were pointing and that and going, "Hey." So we're all right.
Do you know?
I think they were shouting pedo while they were pointing. That's the thing.
That's too far. Come on.
Sorry, lovely.
I used to work on the train. I nearly laughed myself, Big T.
Oh, come on.
I used to work in first class on the trains, and occasionally used to get a celebrity. Because you were at work, it were a little bit surprising to see these people. But the only people I ever got autographs from were Steve Pemberton from League of Gentlemen. And then I met Mark Gatiss, and he stood at the bar when I was working, just chatting to me all day about Sherlock and everything. It was absolutely lovely guy. But now I have not got the third or fourth League of Gentlemen. I haven't got Jeremy Dyson or Reece Shearsmith, so it's totally pointless. But I did meet Howard Marks a few months before he died and got his signature and got a photograph with him. Some cool people like that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
Ross Noble wouldn't shut up. He was lovely. He was absolutely lovely. He was like, oh, I said, do you mind if I get an autograph? And I'm not really an autograph hunter or anything, but it's just nice to see. And he was just like, yeah. And he started telling me like his entire life story. But the one I never got, and he was, So Rowan Atkinson would travel from Peterborough to King's Cross all the time. But he was really famous. First time I saw him at work, one of the staff said, "Oh, don't bother talking to him. He's all business. He won't look at you and this and that." And I thought, forget that. Let's just go have a chat. So I did. I went up and had a chat with him. And I went up and first thing I said to him was, it's you. Not like, it's a surprise when you've known he's on the train for 45 minutes. I was like, it's really weird to see you. I was literally watching a video 2 nights ago of you on YouTube when you went to a college in Boston, and you did this thing where you came in as a janitor and then you sat down at an invisible drum kit, and this drum cat, I'm telling him his act, I didn't tell him all this, but this is what he does on the video. Yeah, he sits down at an invisible drum kit and he's like playing this drum riff.
It's Angus Deaton in it with him, the Todd.
Yeah. That's all, yeah. And honestly, he couldn't have been nicer. He said, "Oh yeah, that was in Boston in 1994, I think," and blah blah blah. And he told me like the whole setup. And I said, "Did you used to play the drums? Because you were pretty accurate." He said, "Yeah, I used to play drums. I dabbled at college and this and that." Oh, wow. And I was like, "But what this did meant the next time I saw him was a few months later, maybe up to a year later. I saw him again, and I just read in the paper that day that he just got the biggest insurance payout for a car crash ever in the country." So again, I went up to him and he recognized me and he was like, "Oh, hi." And I said, can I get you anything? He was like, "Oh, no, thanks, no." And I just read about your car, your payout, like that's insane. And I swear to God, he was like, "Yeah, that was my McLaren F1." Started telling him how much it cost. He started telling me where he crashed
into his cars.
Yeah. Wow. So I was really lucky to sort of break through that. All the guys working with me on the train were like, "Who the fuck are you, Superman? How did you get to talk?" talk
didn't your Daisy meet Michael Palin as well?
Oh, don't. That's a sore point. I was so upset.
I remember her telling me about it. Yeah, it was.
Do you know what she
really
did? Nice. She was really lucky. I think she said he was off Saharagut or something. And she got a signature from him.
They're off to Betty's tea room, I remember, she said, yeah.
And she didn't ask for an autograph for me, and I gave her some shit about it. So the next famous person she met was Bill Bailey. Oh, and she got me Bill Bailey's autograph out of guilt. Well, I was like, "No, take your autograph."
Let's just get the comments up because we're missing some of the comments here. But then I've got another one for you in a minute. How y'all doing, Paula Knights?
Hey, Paula Knights. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show.
Good. How are you, Paula Knights? Hope you're not too chilly up there.
Is it a new viewer, isn't it? Sweet G's perfect. I think that's about the Obi-Wan in it.
Yeah. I don't think it means us.
No.
Yeah. Well, actually, we've got a no beard. We've got probably shaved before he came on and grown a bit of stubble since.
And a shit beard. Yeah.
Shitbeard, yeah.
Yeah. If I was a pirate, that would be my name. Shitbeard the pirate.
Shitbeard.
Shitbeard the pirate.
Yeah.
I've just finished playing the new British standalone survival game. It is brilliant.
What is this? What is it?
We need more info, Paula Knights.
Hang on, is this the one that Dan was talking to us about the other night? Your kid?
Not sure.
We've got some celebrity encounters here as well. So if people are watching,
give us some celebrity.
Yeah. What's your celebrity encounters?
Big T Ma met Sue Pollard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the big one. She was nuts.
Oh, do you know, Big T? I bet that Sue Pollard would be gutted to hear that you were too afraid to approach her for an autograph because she seems lovely.
My old boss is friends with Sue Pollard, and she comes home for dinner and things like that. Yeah, but he's an asshole though, so. I don't know. I don't think that says anything about Sue Pollard because he was just a prick to work for.
I went to NEC once and all the Heidi High gang were there, right?
Did you shit your pants?
Yeah, I didn't go.
No, he was professional.
No, I was professional. I didn't go up.
I'm going to wait until I'm on Heidi High.
Yeah, and then half of them died, unfortunately.
I remember when Dave Grohl came to the Odeon in about 1998.
I was waiting for this one.
Oh, that was amazing. I wasn't working that night, but Dave Jones and a girl called Emma that used to work there texted me and they were like, "You got to get to cinema now. Dave Grohl's in watching Rules of Engagement in Cinema 5. And I was like, what? So I dropped everything I was doing and I jumped on the bus and got into town and I was there.
Did you take a Nirvana CD or something with you?
No, I didn't take anything to sign. And then Dave Jones, being the fucking boss that he is, he was like, do you want the back of my Nirvana? You know, the insert from the back of the CD?
Swap it.
Yeah. And we'll swap them over. And we did that. But I passed it over to Dave Grohl to sign and he looked at it and he kind of like, really, kid? And I was too nervous to even say, man, I'm sorry, I didn't prepare for this. I know that's not your current band. And you know what I mean?
Sign my titty instead.
Well, anyway, yeah, but that is the only nicest guy in rock and roll. My ass. He wasn't very nice that night.
Oh, that's because you were a dweeb nerd who went up to him.
So when
there were only like 3 of us there.
When I left university, I was working in a pub and they were building this hotel, this brand new massive hotel over in Cricklewood in northwest London, and it was this Irish family that owned the hotel, and they were quite a wealthy family. They owned a chain of hotels throughout Ireland, and one night I'm working behind the bar, and it turns out one of the girls that I was working with was going out with one of the guys from Jackass, Chris Pontius. And obviously him and Steve-O were best mates. And basically they were filming something in London together and they were staying at a hotel in central London and they got kicked out of the hotel for having a shit fight in the hotel room. And they'd caused like 20 grand's worth of damage to this hotel room. So they'd just been kicked out of this hotel. Don't care how famous you are. Get the fuck out of our hotel. So this girl who works for the family, she sort of phones them up and she's just like, hi, so my boyfriend and his friend have just been kicked out. Can they come and stay at your place? And they were kind of like, yeah, okay, what did they get kicked out for? Oh, just filming their show. It's a bit of a raucous show that they're not going to film it at your place. So they turn up to this pub. And I was like a big fan of Jackass at the time. And my boss was just like, do you know what? If you want to just go and have a beer with them, go and have a beer with them. That's totally fine. You know, just finish working, go and hang out with them. So I went and hung out with Steve-O and Chris Pontius for a night. And he signed this really illegible autograph. He had a broken leg because he'd just done a backflip off a bar in Hawaii and landed and fucked up. So he was sort of in a cast. And then he threw up everywhere. And my boss was like, oh, we let you off so you can get drunk with him. You've also got to clean up his vomit. Yeah, so I had to clean up Steve-O's puke as well. Yeah, let's clean up his puke as well. Yeah, it's weird.
We've got a few more things. I was just going to tell you about the time. Rob Girdler, do you remember Fab Cafe in Leeds? Rob Girdler spent night hanging out with Jack Black in Fab Cafe.
Nice. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Isla's got a photo of her and Jack Black from when he did Tenacious D did a concert at the Leeds O2 where she was working at the time and she managed to get a selfie with him. And I was pretty jealous about that because when I met Dave Grohl, you got to understand what I wanted to say was I don't care for celebrity autograph. I'm not here to bug you. I'm like you were. You know what I mean? I'm not a geek.
You're professional. You're professional.
But what came out were I was so nervous. It was because I was really aware of bugging him when he'd just been to the cinema with his missus. You know what I mean?
I've never
bothered why Harrison Ford got so pissed off.
I'm never bothered about autographs. So I used to go do these conventions that with a mate of mine who used to help him out on his stall down there. He used to do them film frames. What do you call it? Like film clips inside with the picture. He kind of started all that off.
Yeah.
Started doing it. Anyway, all the people were there, and you could have gone and got autographs left, right, and centre. But I was never bothered about that stuff. I don't know why.
Maybe we should have met some better people.
Well,
did you get a picture of? Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Pop Not Broth, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah.
I remember when they got Craig Charles to do the grand opening of Smeg Records in Cleckheaton.
Blooming heck. Crack. Yeah, I've met. I don't think I met them, but I've seen the Red Dwarf guys at a thing they used to do in Bradford. That used to way before. This is so long ago. This is 25 years ago, and there was this exhibition they used to do where you could go and see film props. So there was loads of stuff from Red Dwarf there, but the cast were there, and there was not all the cast. I think there were a couple of people missing. But there were things like the RoboCop suit and the Terminator model and like loads of little props and stuff from all these movies that me and my brother used to geek out about. was pretty cool. But again, didn't have a mobile phone back then, so I didn't even snap any. We went to the bloody Star Wars exhibition, Lummy. Do you remember that? That was fucking cool at the Bradford Film
and TV music.
Yeah.
That's great.
And again, I didn't
trips to that place.
Didn't take any pictures because I didn't have a mobile sort of thing.
So, Lummy, so what was the picture that you didn't take of Harrison Ford? Like, did anyone manage to get a picture of him outside the hotel?
There was a few kicking about, but he went and bought a watch the other day from the shop, and they even took pictures of him there.
He looks in good condition there, though, didn't he?
It looks like he's thinking, God damn it, I can't even buy a fucking watch.
Yeah, without
people bothering me.
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's an odd one, but yeah, he's been out and about. He's been up and down the country now, so he's done. I think a lot of this new film's going to be set in England, obviously, but Edinburgh, Bar Humbug. What's it called? Bar Humbug. Barnstable.
Not Barnstable.
Battenberg.
Bamborough.
And now London,
Castle.
so they've done some filming in a street in London. What I read this week was they paid one of the residents in the street 50 grand and he fucked off on holiday.
Paid them 50 grand for what?
So they could use his house.
Ah, okay.
So all the neighbours in the street then got the street closed down without them knowing about it. They were all furious. And then all these old-fashioned classic cars started showing up and Harrison Ford. But yeah, I wouldn't approach Harrison Ford for an autograph.
No, I wouldn't either.
I'd sense the grumpiness.
Yeah, he's an old man. So in other geek news this week, there was a bit of a furor in the DC universe.
Furor?
Not a furor. A furore. Is it furor or furore?
Furore Roches.
There was a bit of a palaver in the DC universe this week. There we go.
Use your normal words. That's
yeah,
my normal words. Yeah, yes,
yeah.
For that. I just didn't realise that you didn't say the word like that. Learn something new every day. Anyway, so heroes don't do that, is what DC have said. When for the Harley Quinn cartoon series, they wanted to have a scene where Batman was going down on when Batman was going down on Catwoman, and DC freaked out and were like, whoa, superheroes don't do that sort of thing. So what do we think about this?
This is a Harley Quinn adult cartoon.
It is Harley Quinn, and they have
Teen Titans are all like that.
No. And Justin Halpin, who is the co-creator of Harley Quinn, he has gone at great lengths to say that DC have been hugely supportive about some of the quite adult decisions that they've taken with regards to narrative in the cartoon and things like that. But this was. This is a line that DC wouldn't allow them to cross. And obviously, the internet has done what the internet does this week. And they
it into a porno.
No. They've asked the question that if that's the case, then what are these two handles for? Yeah. They've also said that we beg to disagree. And also, another reason why Spider-Man is infinitely better than Batman.
I like that.
So,
is that the Nutcracker Parade?
Yeah. So, should superheroes? I don't know. I mean, it's. What do we? I mean, thing is, we've got these. They're killing people, and there's lots of gruesome scenes and things like that.
It's integral to the story.
Well, I mean,
is it that he had to eat her out in case she exploded? Penguins.
You got a bomb up there. I'm gonna get it for you.
The Riddler is crafty fucker.
That's one of
there while you were asleep.
That's one of his riddles. I solved the riddle. I don't think there's a riddle in there.
I'm not sure. I mean, it seems like a bit. Where does it stop? I mean,
was it?
I mean, that's something like every radio talk show. That's every radio talk show host's comeback, isn't it? Oh, where does it stop if we let this happen?
I don't know. I mean, problem I've got is, realistically speaking, unless he had a day off, which would have to mean that all the criminals in Gotham were in jail, then where would he find the time? Unless he's that good, he's that efficient. He only needs like 35 seconds and she's done. I could squeeze this in.
He might have a toy for it or something
Yeah,
like that. Where does he get those wonderful toys?
I could squeeze this in before I catch the Mad Hatter. Just a quickie. I don't know, man. I mean
we're getting some comments. I mean, let's have a look. Matt, hang on. Martin's joined us as well here. Martin, hello, Martin. You all right?
Martin, how you doing, mate?
Ali and Nightwing going
right.
for it in one of their other animations, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's the point they're trying to make in it. Like, we've already let you get away with this and that, but maybe this is a step too far. I don't know, mate. I mean, would it change your opinion of Catwoman if you saw her naked?
This is the other thing. I was like, so are they wearing their costumes while they're doing this, or is it Bruce Wayne doing it, or is it Batman doing it?
What Batman did it and Catwoman, so I assume they've still got the disguises on.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the thing is, the beauty about this is
you can't blame them for that. I mean, a little bit of dress up.
For Batman to perform Cunnilingus on Catwoman, he wouldn't even have to take his mask off. That's the beauty of it, because that bit's open already.
Yeah,
exactly. So you don't have to get dressed or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Take his clothes off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Bring it on.
An opportunity.
Bring it on. Let's see. So have they stopped filming this? Are they going to release it anyway? What's happening?
No. The series is out. It's season 3 of it. And they've done some pretty bold things with it already. You know, like Martin said with Nightwing. But it was just in an interview, and the co-creator just said, "Oh yeah, well this is kind of where they drew the line. This was something that they didn't let us do." But I want to make it very clear that they've let us make some really ballsy decisions, and they've been very supportive over it. But it just seemed like
I've seen the series of you. I heard it was.
I didn't even know about it.
It's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be really, it's supposed to be really good.
Martin said, "What's it on, Martin?" This, because you seem to know.
Yeah, tell us what
Harley season 2 starts.
What platform it's on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I've got mixed feelings about it. I don't think it's past the line. I think past the line would be Batman then trying to get a pube out of his teeth for like the next 25 minutes. That'd be over the line. But I don't know, man. We're all grown ups. If it's an adult series, who cares?
Well, that's the thing. It is an adult series, isn't it? It's not like, you know.
Exactly that. I mean, I just think when you look at some of the other content
on E4. All right.
Okay. All right. We're all gonna have to go and watch that.
We are, yeah. Nice one. We got to finish there.
Webman as well. A bit of info for you. Royal Armouries in Leeds got a load of cool movie-related weapon props, pulse rifle.
I've seen a few of them. I went there on a day out with some people I used to work for. A few years ago, I saw the pulse rifle in the guns in the gun section. It was pretty cool. But yeah, they had stuff like that.
Next week at the Armories, there's a comic convention on, isn't there?
Is there?
Yes. You told us about that earlier in the week.
I might try and go down and do a quick report for us.
That'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
I'm too scared to catch a deadly disease. So,
or if any of our geeks are going along to the Comic-Con, get some footage, send it in. Be our roving reporter for the day. We'd love you. And that's the thing. Like we said last week, we need you. So if you want to share your geeky love or your collection, or you want to be a guest host one week with us, please just send in a little video to our Facebook page, and we would love to work with you.
If you've ever had a celebrity selfie or anything like that, you think we might
share it. That would be fun. Absolutely. Got to hear about it. So you teased us earlier on, Webby, as we were talking about Batman. You teased us saying that you got a gift for Father's Day.
I did.
What did you get? And I think Lummy might have some pictures of it. I think. Is it the thing that Lummy's got pictures of?
Yeah, it is, but I've also got it right here as well, so I may as well show it to the camera and stuff. I was a lucky boy. I got myself the little classic Batmobile.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice.
With a little, I've put Joker in there. Obviously, they wouldn't be driving together, but I needed someone. What I really love about it, though, is the fact that because it's
day off, maybe they're going to the
breaking kayfabe. Yeah,
the double team.
Yeah, they're having a truce. Hey, just had a call from Catwoman.
Wasn't even allowed to go down on her.
She's hot to trot. Let's go. Right. Anyway, but what I really love about it is the Joker figure is not just the Joker. It's Cesar Romero. He's actually got a little mustache.
Oh, has he got his mustache painted over?
Yeah, he has. It's really cute. You can't see it on there, but yeah, highly recommend it, guys. If you like.
There you go.
You can see his mustache on that one. Yeah, and it's the Adam West Batman suit, so it's the first time I've ever had anything like that. Yeah, it's really.
Did you take these pictures, Webby?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
Thanks, man. I never know whether you're joking or not.
No, they're good. I like it.
They look professional.
Yeah.
Thanks. But this is obviously a collector's thing. Luckily, Robin's not too bothered about it. He hasn't really hit his radar yet that he could steal this off me and crash it into stuff. I'm sure it will get taken at some point. But yeah, I really loved it. I thought it was a cute little set. I think it's about 35 quid. It's a Lego shop only one, which in case you are looking to buy it, or you can get it on the Lego site. You can't get it from Smith's and Amazon. It's one of the limited edition ones. But yeah, that was my Father's Day present, so I was well chuffed with that.
That's good. How long did it take to build? And how many pieces?
It's 340 odd pieces or something. It's got, I like the little Batman hubcaps as well. He's got on the wheel, tiny Batman hubcaps.
Did Robin take the pics?
Just quite a little. You what?
Martin wants to know if Robin took the photos.
Oh, he went in bed. I don't let him touch me Lego. Yeah, but so yeah, that was a nice little surprise for the Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Yeah, Father's Day.
Have we got any other comments, Lummy, before we get on to our best and worst? It's been a long introduction segment to tonight's show.
Lego set.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great set of Legos you got on you there, boy. And so this week we were tasked with picking our best and worst Chevy Chase products, I guess, because well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if we go beyond films. I can't remember if anybody picked Community or anything like that. So I did, because when I looked at IMDb to see how many Chevy Chase films might fit into this category for me, Community was the only thing I could find. But yeah, I did find a way around it. I nearly picked Community, but again, I'll explain when it's my turn. Okay, so let's. I think we should. Can we start with, because I figure that I'm going to have good things to say. I'm going to be quite measured. I think Lummy is also going to be quite measured, and then Webby's just going to be this ball of Chevy hate in the middle. So let's have the shit sandwich of a segment.
You go first, smart guy.
No, because that's no, it's all right. I'm happy to go
just
last.
Got this. We're going to pull out for a bottle, bro.
Well, there you go. That could take a picture, send it in to us.
Yeah,
we'll feature it on the show. Pop not
send it now. We'll put it up on the show before we finish if we can. I made quite a claim there to be.
Yeah, that means you've got to monitor our Facebook page at the same time.
Yeah, I went crazy. Sorry.
Yeah. No, if you do it, then just leave a comment saying you've done it, and then we need. Yeah, you know the score.
As well, that'd be great. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Right. So, Lummy, what is your best Chevy Chase?
I thought you were going first, smart guy.
No, you are.
All right. My favourite. I've got a few favourites, but obviously you can't have them all. In fact, the ones you picked are also my favourites. But I went for my ultimate favourite film, and it's a Christmas one. It's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah,
I watch this every year. I think it's brilliant. Yeah. I love it. I will fight you if you say otherwise. I won't. I just love it. It's great. But the old Vacation ones, the first one and the European one, I quite like them as well. But even the first Vacation film, that's great as well. Good fun.
What about
Vegas Vacation?
Yeah,
because that is okay. One. It's okay. Yeah, it's one that isn't as credited as the others.
They lost it a little bit with that, but it's still watchable.
Well, I think that was the one that wasn't made by National Lampoons.
That's right. Well, National Lampoons works.
It was a comic. It was a
magazine.
A magazine, and they used to do a radio show. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can pay to use the National Lampoon name.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you get all these films called National Lampoon's.
So
Dawn
next week it's going to be
Days and all that.
welcome to National Lampoon's It's All Geek to Me. We can do that.
And the
Yeah,
reason
nice.
that they kind of franchise the name out to people and they can pay for it, and people used to do it all the time to try and get in on the the box office of.
So like
Lampoon's.
National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon is one that springs to mind. Yeah.
And it's got nothing to
Of
do
course.
with
Yeah.
Have you
stuff.
guys seen the film about the guy who created it with Will Forte playing him?
Yeah.
That's a great film. It's on Netflix, Rich.
Oh,
it's about
that's
the guy
yes.
who
No, I know,
created National
I know.
Lampoon.
Because the guy from Community is playing a young Chevy Chase. The one guy who's basically got anything good to say about Chevy Chase from his time in Community.
Stone Drunk, something. Can't remember what it's called. The documentary.
Yes, I can't remember either. It's got a long title. But yeah, it was
Stone-
pretty good. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
And also the obviously the first National Lampoon's film as well were directed by Harold Ramis as well, so you got that going on, and written by John Hughes. So
Yeah, the John Hughes connection. That's where. Yeah, maybe that's where the major differences are when they lose the core team and start.
And
I don't know who directed the Vegas one or wrote it, but I'm doubting they were involved.
This one and the original one were based on articles from the National Lampoon magazine as well that John Hughes wrote, and then he expanded it for the film. So, but it's the Christmas Vacation one though. It's good fun. It's just and it is all the stuff where the big family Christmas idea and it all goes wrong, and I just like all that, and
A futile and stupid gesture.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. It's the Drunk Stone one, then. I think that's a documentary based on the same thing. Anyway.
Okay.
I think if you guys want to check, didn't we talk about Christmas movies at Christmas? And I think you picked
probably.
as well.
Yeah. It's a really good film. I love it.
I watched it this year. I
perfect
watched it this Christmas, man. I did.
Yeah.
And there are other Chevy Chase films I could have picked, but I knew what you guys had picked as well. So,
well, actually, they've actually remade. Chevy Chase has reprised the character of Thingy Griswold. What's his first name? Clark Griswold. In that film, they did it at the Super Bowl, where they did a sort of 10-minute sort of version of it to do with the Super Bowl. It was all to do with connecting the lights and things like that, the Christmas lights. And he's done it for 4 or 5 different commercial sort of brands as well.
And it's in the end of Vacation where it connects it all together because he goes to see Clark and his missus, don't he? At the end, the family actually get where they're going, and he's there, and he's still just as crazy as ever. And they're running a bed and breakfast, aren't they? And Chevy Chase is just standing there, fucking Febrezing the sheets for ages, just Febrezing. It's quite
it's absolutely brilliant. It's a wonderful Christmas film. It's really, really good. And there was a sequel. Did you watch the sequel?
Yeah.
National
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation to Cousin Eddie's
Hawaiian
Island
luau or barbecue or something like that.
I mean, to be fair to him, it was made for TV, so that never works out well for stuff like that.
No, absolutely.
Why does it?
No, I did. So why did you pick the Christmas Vacation as opposed to like the European Vacation or just the one where they went to Wally World?
Just because this is the one I watch the most out of them all. I don't really go back. Well, I would, the first.
But do you watch it because it's a Christmas film and so you make sure you watch it every year? There's no other reason to.
Do you do that thing where you have your stack of films ready to watch at Christmas?
Yeah.
So if I don't get a chance to watch them all, I'll always make sure I watch this one. So this is my go-to, along with Home Alone.
Yes, of course.
Must be fun that Christmas.
Cool. All right. So, what was your worst Chevy Chase?
My worst. There's a couple to pick from actually, but I went for this one because I just hated it. Memoirs of an Invisible Man. Have you seen this?
Yeah, that was going to be my worst, but you got there before me.
It's just there's just nothing really likable about it. I don't know. I've tried a couple of times to watch this. I hadn't tried for years actually. When I was younger, I tried to watch it, and I just didn't think it was that good.
No.
But yeah,
can't remember who the director was on that.
No, I didn't even. I was gonna look it up before I came on here, and I thought I'm not even bothered enough to look it up.
Oh, it was John Carpenter. So yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. That was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe
So that was the thing about it, because he said, because I was watching the thing the other day, and he was, which we're going to hear a lot of, that how it was the worst. John Carpenter hates the film because Chevy Chase was so difficult to work with on that project, and he just spoiled it.
I mean, if it's John Carpenter as well, I assume it's not like it meant to be a comedy as well. It's more serious tone. I'll have to watch it again, to be honest.
Well, like pretty much every other project he's been involved in, Chevy Chase wants to improvise all the time. He doesn't want to be really given a script, and he wants to be given free reign, and John Carpenter didn't want him to do that. So it's that, yeah. It's,
you've got Daryl Hannah in there who I don't mind as well, but even she couldn't save it, really.
Yeah, man. I remember it coming out, and I remember being at one point in my life, me and my brother, we did like Chevy Chase. We look forward to his films coming out. We were always up for watching, most of the ones in the 80s we watched. And that was a big letdown. I remember it distinctly. Yeah. Terrible.
So he's made some great stuff, personally, I think he's made some great stuff. But you've picked some anyway.
Yeah, so Webby, what have you picked as your best Chevy Chase?
Like I said, I was about to pick Community, and then I remember that the reason I like that film, like that show, isn't because of Chevy Chase. The fact that he's all right in it and he gets away with it, and now that he's a bit more of a doddery old man, and he plays a character that says all the wrong things to everybody all the time. It didn't piss me off too much in it. But the film I picked was, I remembered I do have a favourite Chevy Chase movie. And it's not because he's in it. He happens to be in this movie that's already great. And it's Three Amigos.
Yes.
Which I keep calling the Three Amigos. There's no the. There's no the.
No.
And he's got throughout the film, the Three Amigos.
We are the Three Amigos.
Yeah. And I remember singing, we used to sing it at college.
Yeah.
We used to just sing the Three Amigos song. And we used to
do you remember I did my audition for Jesus Christ Superstar, and I sung Blue Shadows?
I do, because I remember learning that on guitar so you could sing it. I don't think I actually played it with you, but I tried to learn it.
Yeah. And David Gann said to me, "What the hell was that?" Anyway, go on.
Your dedication, though, is just incredible. Do you know what I mean? Like, your dedication to things that nobody gives a shit about, like David Gann, expecting him to go, wow, that was a wonderful rendition of that song from the Three Amigos movie.
Oh, love it. Yeah, you picked a great film here. I mean,
it's brilliant film. I nearly picked it as well, actually. Yeah.
And yes, it's from the 80s, so spoiler alert, it's probably racist as hell and horrible to women and just fucking wrong in all kinds of ways, but it's actually got some really, really interesting things to say about Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
The whole premise of this film is three guys that used to be famous in a load of films called the Three Amigos.
Yeah.
And they hit hard times. Nobody wants to watch their movies anymore, except for this one place in Mexico that thinks that they are real and asks them to come and save the city from Mel Guapo, is it?
Yeah. Aren't they filming a lesser film project in Mexico? It's not as big a project.
No, they get hired as hired guns because they think they're heroes from the films. They didn't realize they weren't documentaries. Because they're just simple peasants. You know what I mean? So they end up they think they've got a film deal, so they show up there to film this film, and it's not a film, and they actually have to take down this crime lord. But it's got some great lines in it.
What's your favourite line? Go on.
My favourite line is when they look up and the plane's flying over, and he goes, "Hey, look, it's a mail plane." And he goes, "How can you tell?" And he goes, "Because it's got little balls." There's loads of lines in it. Are you the singing bush?
Singing bush.
Children coming round the mountain when she comes. Hey, are you the singing bush? Forget it. My guess is this is singing bush. My favourite line is Steve Martin when he goes, he says, "Let her go, El Guapo, else we'll fill you so full of lead you'll be using your dick for a pencil." And he goes, "What do you mean?" He says, "I don't know."
But there's the whole scene as well where they walk into the bar full of rough Mexicans that want to kill them, and they just assume that they all want signatures and let's give them a come on. And it gets on the piano and they start playing My Little Buttercup. This is like, and they're doing the whole dance routine. And it's just brilliant. Yeah, it's really...
I want to watch it now.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I looked
Do you
through it last
know
night.
what's the Kinison, the comedian? What we call
Sam Kinison.
Sam Kinison. He was in it, wasn't he? And they cut his scenes out. And when they went back to do the anniversary, they couldn't find the scenes in the vault.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a wild card one. He wanted to be Jim Belushi. Jim Belushi?
James. Jim. Which one? The funnier one or the one who's
the
more...
one?
Oh,
John Belushi. Yeah, he wanted to be him, basically. But anyway, it's just a really cheesy little film. Some of the musical stuff in it's really funny. The Invisible Swordsman, where they've got a son in him.
Yes,
and
that's brilliant.
You're supposed to fire up. We all fired
up. It's like living with a 6-year-old.
Oh, this is the best Chevy Chase bit, where they're on the back of the donkeys riding through the desert and they're all thirsty and sweating.
Oh,
and Chevy Chase comes out the fucking canteen and he's just like
all over his face.
Yeah, and it's just
it's leaking out.
Chevy Chase is good at doing what he does, but apparently, my biggest problem with it is the reputation and the fact that he didn't have enough under his belt to be that cocky about stuff before he got that cocky. He literally left Saturday Night Live after the first series, and according to everybody he worked with,
he did regret it. Yeah. He did regret
I watched a little documentary about him recently as an old man, and he's sort of sitting there in this crumbling Hollywood home wondering where it all went wrong, and he still doesn't fucking get it. He doesn't get that it was him. He don't get that's why nobody wants to work with him. He just not in a mean way, but because he's old and because he almost looks like he's unwell in a way. He's very doddery. You know what I mean?
So let's go back on me.
I was just going to say, do you know at one point Spielberg were going to direct this and he were going to have Bill Murray in it? As,
the three Amigos.
So,
awesome.
So this is the thing. So obviously, Chevy Chase, first presenter of Saturday Night Live, it was just Saturday night. Actually, the show was called originally when it first came out. Shot to stardom, did really, really well in the show. Got to season 2, decided he wanted to leave and have this. Well, he says it wasn't to go and have a Hollywood career. It says because his wife at the time, or his fiance, wasn't living in that area and was living in LA. Wasn't living in New York, I think it was filmed, wasn't it? Yeah. And she was living in LA, so he wanted to go over to LA and live with her and be with her. Which, on the surface of it, you're like, well, yeah, fair enough. You just want to be with your loved one. And then they had to find a replacement for Chevy Chase. And John Belushi wanted his brother Jim to be the replacement. But actually, there was this sort of little-known comedian who'd done a few bits and pieces, but was starting to cause a bit of a stir, called Bill Murray. And they called him up to be on the show. And, arguably, he pulled the show in a different direction, I think, Bill Murray. He was a different kind of superstar to the Chevy Chase role, that he'd carved out for himself. And Chevy Chase hated it. He hated Bill Murray for it. And they didn't like each other. He went back and did a couple of guest segments. And I think they got into a fist fight.
Yeah, they got into a fight. I read that literally a couple of weeks ago. I was reading about that.
They got into a fist fight backstage. And it was pretty full on, this sort of professional rivalry, I guess. And it wasn't until they came to work together on Caddyshack that they started to become friends, or have a more mutual sort of respect for each other. But arguably, Chevy Chase did, I think you're wrong that he didn't have enough behind him. I think he absolutely had enough. I think he was a huge Hollywood star. I think he was, at the time, he was probably the biggest star in Hollywood. He's fucking hilarious. The problem is the ego that came with that, and the ego that kind of intensified. And I know Joe Rogan raised this a while ago, but it's something that I have wondered. He is a very physical comedian. He did all his own stunts. You watch any sort of compendium of clips of Chevy Chase on YouTube, and it's just a series of him falling over falling off ladders and roofs and things like that. I'm wondering whether I mean, he says he wakes up in pain every day. I wonder whether actually his crankiness, and I'm not trying to excuse his bad behavior because some of it has been horrific, but I wonder how much of his crankiness is down to physical pain and injury from doing all these stunts for so many years.
I don't know. I don't know. Like you say, it doesn't excuse it anyway because
it doesn't. It doesn't.
You know, there are people like, look at Robin Williams, a famous comedian, but famous for being, even when he was coked out of his mind in the 80s, one of the nicest, most accommodating guys you could possibly meet, who would literally give you his last fucking dollar. And, you know, so you hear these things, don't you, as fans and as movie fans about different celebrities, and you form an impression of them. And Chevy Chase just hasn't formed a good impression. Sorry, man. A bit of Melado fell off.
That's right. How do you feel, though? Because, yeah, famously, he was very difficult to work with. And, you know, we're talking about, Carpenter and all these, all his co-stars. It was just, and we'll probably get onto the cast of Community in a bit as well. But he's famously wonderful with his fans. And there are no bad reports of encounters with Chevy Chase with his fans. He was just absolutely wonderful with them. And all of these people who he's been mean to, that he's worked with, have all sort of attested to that as well. I know it's...
Well, listen, I mean...
So is it a professional jealousy thing? Is it
It's a reverse cordon, isn't it, he's doing? He's pulling a reverse cordon because apparently he's an absolute arsehole, allegedly, to his fans. You read the reviews on The Late Show and he don't interact with them at all. And, he kisses every celebrity's ass he can get his tongue up.
Yeah. Chevy Chase, for me, I mean, it's an impression I've formed over years of observing and reading about the way people like him. If you're that disliked by your peers, and it's nice that he's nice to his fans. That's only common decency, but it don't give him many brownie points for me. He was very talented. I think the problem is, and I can't blame him because it happens to so many people, the age he was, the success he had so early on, the cocaine, the drink, you know what I mean? It's all a recipe for disaster. And for me, he rose as quickly as he fell. Do you know what I mean? There was a period in the early 80s where he was in a lot of stuff and then just suddenly became pretty fucking uncastable.
Yeah.
And he then had to, make some hard choices. I think he's a what's he called? A drug addict. He was always a drug addict. I'm not sure if alcohol plays into it as well, but I think with that Hollywood.
Well, actually, alcohol is a drug, Nathan.
Yeah, but you never say you're a recovering alcoholic, do you? In America, they always say I'm an alcoholic, whether they haven't drunk for fucking 50 years or not. You're still an alcoholic because it's about what alcohol does to you as a person.
Do you know, Mandy said 3 Amigos fab film. I wouldn't have thought she'd have watched it, to be honest.
Oh, well, you're a judgmental prick then, aren't you?
I know, I am,
yeah. Good on you. Yeah, I like 3 Amigos, great film, but also worth noting that it's also one of Steve Martin and Martin Short's strongest films.
It's great casting in all 3 of them.
Yeah, they're absolutely brilliant. Absolutely
and
brilliant.
Martin Short's first film role, that.
Yeah.
Was it really?
What a one to start on it.
I think it's incredible when you think about the films that Chevy Chase has turned down, the roles. I think it's fascinating when you think about the roles that have been offered to him, let alone the roles he's turned down, like Forrest Gump.
Chevy Chase turned down Forrest Gump.
Yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, there's actually quite a list of them. I'll have a look to see what they were. But yeah, it was Forrest Gump was one of the films that he turned down. But
the thing is, I get the feeling that he turns a lot of stuff down out of arrogance because it's not good enough for him. That's the impression I get from him. I'm sorry, Chevy Chase, if you are on your deathbed right now and you're watching, I don't mean to slag you off.
Does he have to be on his deathbed?
Chevy? What did you do to these people?
We haven't even got to your worst film yet.
I know.
Yeah, this is how I feel about his best film.
Oh, Ghostbusters, he turned down as well.
Wow.
Yeah. And American Gigolo, he turned down. Animal House, he turned down.
Right.
When you say turned down, it might have been on the list, might it?
It might have been, scheduling
Because there's loads of them lists. They list all the people they might have considered, and
Oh yeah, they never even asked half of them. They just put them on the list. for us to read 30 years later. My worst film is probably some people out there's best Chevy Chase film, and it's Caddyshack. I just do not fucking get it. Even Bill Murray, I've mentioned this in the past. Bill Murray does an impression of I don't even know if he's supposed to be special needs or learning disabled or whatever. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. And Chevy Chase sucks.
It's a character. Bill Murray's character. It's a character he used to do with Dan Aykroyd. On the sketches.
And again, Bill Murray and Chevy Chase completely improvised everything in this film. I'm still amazed that you still. I really struggle with. I mean, each of their own. But it does surprise me that you don't like Caddyshack. We've talked about it on the show before.
I think again, it's one that I watched out of ignorance at college when I learned that film existed, because I didn't have a video. I didn't have everything on demand in my house back then. You had to go look for it. So if you missed it in the video shop, or you never saw the trailer, or you never saw a movie poster, you didn't know these fucking things existed. When I got to college and everybody I loved Bill Murray and loved the same comedies and the same films, you start talking about those things. And I think Lummy was one of the people who maybe know that this film existed. And it's a case of watching it, like you've done yourself, Gittins, a few times, watching a film way past when you should have watched it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it never hit home for me. I didn't like this. I don't know. I love stupid comedy films, but this was a bit, wasn't great.
Just to, I don't know if you can see that, but let me try and get that into camera focus. Oh, look at that. He was considered to be Indiana Jones, Lummy.
What?
Yeah, but that could mean considered for 10 seconds.
No, he was on the list. He made the list of actors considered to be
a list,
Indiana Jones.
That'll be a list that they're drawing up of who's available at the time. There's no way he got an audition.
Splash as well.
I can see that. He knew a lot of people involved in these films.
Fabulous Baker Boys. Bonfire of the Vanities.
Lummy,
a lot of time.
What films did John
Santa
Candy
Claus
and Chevy Chase do? I'm wondering about John Candy being such a famously nice guy. I'm wondering what he felt it was like working with him.
John Candy and Chevy Chase, they only did that Nothing But Trouble together.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd film.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, he talked about that one. That was a weird one, wasn't it?
That's the only
it
one
was.
done. Yeah.
And also, he turned down the part of Buzz of Woody.
It was in Vacation as well as the first one. Sorry, Rich. It was in the National Lampoon's Vacation as a security guard at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And Buzz Lightyear, they wanted him for as well.
Chevy Chase. We've got some comments, but we'll have a look at the end, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I will go. Have you finished talking about Caddyshack?
Yeah, man, not much more to say. I mean, first of all, I guess the fundamental problem for me is it's a movie about golf, and like Happy Gilmore couldn't give a shit about it. So it's not it's not really on my radar.
Okay.
I don't mind it as much as obviously you, but I wouldn't go back and watch it out of the whole. I wouldn't go. Oh yeah, I'll watch Caddyshack.
That's odd, isn't it? Because it's Bill Murray and it's Chevy Chase. You'd think it would be one you'd watch every so often.
Well, it's Ivan Reitman directing as well with Harold Ramis writing.
It's his first film.
No,
Ivan Reitman's.
Actually, I think so. It might be. No, he'd done some little stuff before it, but certainly one of his bigger budget ones with some actual.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did Meatballs before this or not.
But I mean, just going back to the point, for me, Chevy Chase is an interesting talking point, whether you like him or you don't. There's a lot to digest about him. There's a lot of reasons, ups and downs. He's had a very crazy career. I kind of feel glad that he's a little bit more castable these days and he's popping up in things. And I think things like Community, but again, Community, this is something you forget. Dan Harmon, the guy who wrote Community,
was a Chevy Chase fan.
Yeah, and then he met him.
He's a Chevy Chase fan. He worked with him, yeah.
And he met him and worked with him, and he made his life really fucking difficult. Refused to remember his name and shit like that. It was really bizarre behavior from this old man that should have been fucking grateful to be in Summit again.
Don't be your heroes, kids.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Right, thing is, he was brilliant in Community, and all of the cast say he on his day. He's the funniest member in that cast. He's absolutely brilliant. The character that he was playing was absolutely brilliant as well. Again, this is where we find out he said some racially insensitive and some homophobic things to other cast members. And again, unforgivable. How much of it is him trying to shock people and push buttons? How much of it is an ignorant old man? Or how much of it is somebody trying to crack jokes but just getting them wrong because he is outdated in his references and his... what do you think?
I don't know, really.
Okay, there's somebody in Community that I really respect, and it's a guy called Donald Glover. He's one of those triple threat guys. He's an actor, he's a musician, he's a director, he writes. He's TV show he wrote, Childish Gambino, Atlanta, which did really well. I've just pulled up an article on my phone because this is one that, again, I'm quoting from what Chevy Chase has said to him. But Donald Glover recalls Chevy Chase's racism on the set of Community. Chase once told Glover, "People think you're funnier because you're black." Mm-hmm. He just was so blunt about things, and so it's just so out of order.
I think that is a jealousy thing, right?
Exactly. It gets to the crux of the biscuit then, because then you find out that Dan Harmon says Chevy was the first person on set to realize how immensely gifted Donald Glover was. And the way he expressed his jealousy was to try and throw him off.
Yeah.
Because he's a prick.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
anyway.
I mean, that was when I saw the interview that was done with, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter, where he was challenged on a lot of his bad behavior. Because there was a thing at a rap party for an end of season for Community where Dan Harmon led the rest of the cast in a chant of "fuck Chevy." And he just got them all, the whole cast and the whole crew were just chanting "fuck Chevy" in front of Chevy Chase, and his family were there as well. And Chevy Chase and his family just sort of left. And then Chevy Chase left I think it's like a 1:40 tirade of abuse on Dan Harmon's answer phone. And it exists on the internet because he played it. Dan Harmon played it on an interview he did with a Q&A with an audience.
He used to do a podcast and he talked about it all the time on that podcast.
But Dan Harmon himself is an infamously difficult person to work with.
I mean, I'm going to say that sounds like a bit of a shitty thing to do anyway, doesn't it?
I agree.
I mean,
but
Dan
if it
Harmon,
comes at the
with his family
tail end, I agree. I think that was shitty behaviour. But again, if it's come off the tail end of a load of shitty behaviour from Chevy.
Dan Harmon went from having his fucking dick sucked all the time about how great Community was to getting kicked off his own fucking show because he was that badly behaved. Yeah. So I've no doubt that there's
just need to be more professional.
Like you. Yeah. Take a leaf out of Lummy's book, you know.
Honestly, yeah.
Don't get involved. Don't express an emotion. Just a thumbs up will do. There you go. Job done. Move on.
That message you sent earlier, I didn't have a clue what you were on about.
By that, I honestly feel like I could say, "Lummy, I'm going to lose my leg," and you just go on the message group.
Oh, look, right. Sometimes a thumbs up in the message things will do when you got a lot of stuff going on. I don't mean any disrespect to you two when you send a message and I put a thumbs up. It's just like, okay.
But there's been a couple of times when it's been like, "Oh, it's a great show tonight. I love you guys."
It's because I don't need all that.
Can't get me fucking thumb in the camera.
That's what it is.
Oh,
too professional.
Yeah. All right.
It's always
trying to put us off because he's jealous, Rebby. He's the Chevy Chase of this group.
Trying to bring us down.
If you want me to and not put anything, rather, would you rather have a thumb?
Sometimes I gotta say, sometimes like getting blood out of a stone with you and your emotions. I'm like, Lummy, but how did it make you feel?
Lombard 101 says yes.
So my best Chevy Chase film, I went with Fletch. I grew up with a mum and dad who loved Chevy Chase, so that's when I'd seen Caddyshack as a kid. Fletch is such a funny film based on a series of books, and is about to get a reboot as well with John. No, it is happening. It's John Hamm playing.
No, it's not happening.
It is. I saw an interview a couple of weeks ago with John Hamm talking about it, and he's playing Chevy Chase. They're doing the casting, and they are filming. He's playing playing Fletch, and it's going back to the books because he's like, those shoes are way too big to fill, so we're going to go back to the books and do it that way. But yeah, I just remember seeing Fletch as a kid. It was the scene where he's on an aeroplane, he's picking his nose, and he's like trying to get the bogey off his finger, and he's like just and it's just about 5 minutes of a guy trying to get a bogey off his finger, and it's as funny as
highbrow
balls.
stuff.
Oh, it's funny as balls, man, because it's something you can relate to. It's and it's just an everyday fucking thing, and he plays it fine, and he plays it brilliantly. So Fletch, that was
you will watch that movie and actually believe that Chevy Chase has difficulty getting bogeys off his finger.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Lummy? You're going to correct me now, aren't you?
No, I'm going to say I think it's a great choice, Fletch. I really like it. Both of them.
Yeah.
The second one's all right as well.
See, I didn't like the second one, and that was nearly my pick for my worst. But just it was released in 1985. It cost $8 million to make, and it took $59 million at the box office. So when you compare that to my worst film, which is Caddyshack 2.
Oh, you're getting straight onto that. You're not talking anymore.
Well, you can talk about Fletch a bit more if you want.
Fletch it up. I need more Fletch.
We can Fletch our muscles.
Well,
it's fine.
I'll tell you what I like about Fletch. It lets him do a few different disguises. I always like films.
It does. So yes, So Fletch's film where he plays a reporter trying to bring down a drug empire, but whilst he's doing that, a man asks him to fake kill him or something like that. Assassinate him.
Kill him. Asking kill him, doesn't he?
And then he tries to dig in the story behind that. And you're right, it is a chance for Chevy Chase to don lots of disguises, play loads of different really funny characters. And one of the reasons I didn't like Fletch Lives is because of the blacking up.
What?
In Fletch Lives, he blacks up at one point.
No, I don't.
I think he does.
No.
I think he does.
I don't know. Back in the 80s, that was a fucking selling point for a movie, wasn't it? Oh, you can't see your favourite actor black up.
Well, it was actually something we missed last week in Monty Python and the Life of Brian. One of the three kings is browned up in that.
You mentioned it last week. You did say.
Yeah, you did mention it.
I think I mentioned it after the show. So
yeah. Again, the odd little anomaly where it's just accidental and you have to let it go because otherwise you can't enjoy some of your favourite stuff.
But it's also about the time, isn't it? It was something that we were all ignorant of at that time.
Do you know? I think it'd make a brilliant Fletch in the new one, and I often think this. He's as when Chevy Chase is likable, and you want him to remain like that. For me, I get a lot of that from Ryan Reynolds. He's got a Chevy Chase style about him, and I think
I agree.
Brilliant Fletch.
At one point, they were going to have Jason Lee as him, weren't they? They tried to do a deal with that, and it was close.
Well, yeah, but that was
Jason Lee would be brilliant. Jason Lee would have been brilliant.
That's when Kevin Smith was attached to the project as well, because he really loves Fletch and he really wanted to meet. But I think he loves the books. I think he's a fan of the original books. Yeah. So he was hoping to pick a couple of stories from that and make them into a movie. It got really close.
The music's pretty good in Fletch as well. I
can't remember the soundtrack.
It's Harold Faltermeyer who did Beverly Hills Cop and Top Gun.
I seem to remember it sounding like Axel F. and
Okay. But my worst Chevy Chase, and when you compare the box office success to Fletch, my worst one is Caddyshack 2 film released in 1988. It cost $20 million to make, and it only took $11.8 million at the box office. Yeah. And actually, it's a film that Chevy Chase isn't in that much in Caddyshack 2. He's not as prominent in it, but
it's really odd that Dan Aykroyd's in this one rather than Bill Murray as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've never seen the sequel.
Is there on thing?
I kind of thought it was him, but to me, from this distance, it kind of looks like a bit of a dodgy drawing of Dan Aykroyd. Yeah. Who else is that? Is that Randy Quaid
as well? Yeah, it looks like him.
How come I can spot Randy Quaid in this artwork, but nobody else? Oh, there's Chevy Chase. He looks really fat in this. Is he fat or is it just a bad drawing?
No, he wasn't fat in it.
What year did this come out?
1988. So this is at the point where his very quick rise was very quickly starting to plummet a little bit, and he started to be attached to some real stinkers, including Memoirs of the Invisible Man and things like that. And then obviously Community reignited his career, and it's just that thing, isn't it? That it just seems that he's constantly self-sabotaging his own career.
Yeah, I heard that so a lot of these things that you're saying he turned down, I heard that he actually turned down, he physically turned them down. You know, famously saying like things like that is not a Chevy Chase vehicle.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not in that enough. I need more to do in this movie. You know what I mean? And things like that.
Yeah,
so I think he kind of asked for it.
I'm not allowed to improvise in it.
Yeah.
I've got to do what you, the director, wants me to do. It's.
I just remembered another one, but I can't remember if Chevy Chase is actually in it. Is he in Spies Like Us with Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah.
That's not bad. I like that one.
Somebody's mentioned that in the comments. We will go to the comments.
It just popped in my head. I quite like that one. There's some good scenes in that.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the comments, Lemmy. Let's see what.
Let's comment it up, dude.
We'll go back through them all then, reverse order. Let's have a look. Martin Cameron, was it Caddyshack with the floating? Yeah, that's the first
Yes,
one.
it is, yeah.
Bill Murray picks it out, doesn't he? Neats it.
Yeah.
Baby Ruth bar, like the Goonies, I think it is.
Yeah.
Ruth, baby.
We'll ignore that, Thummy Lummy. Come on. Come on, grow
I like it. Why did we not think of that? Chris,
I don't know.
He's in the excellent Mr. Dundee movie.
Yes.
I was going to mention that actually, but I haven't seen it still.
I'm going to download that. I don't think it's going to pop up anywhere anytime soon.
Caddyshack and Happy Gilmore, rubbish.
Me and Mandy are soulmates, man.
Three Amigos, Caddyshack, and Happy Gilmore.
You are a favourite geek.
Well,
yeah, she's the funniest.
Everybody's favourite. I'm not even my own. I'm not even my own favourite geek.
Oh,
not Chevy is a strange one for me. I did like the National Vacations and others of that era, but
this is the weird thing, Martin. This is what I was saying. When you actually look at his list of films on IMDb, I was like, huh? He's really not in a lot.
No,
he's really not in a lot that's in my.
I realised the same director of Fletch directed the second one, and he did Cops and Robertson, if you've ever seen that.
Really?
Yeah. So he must have liked working with him.
Jesus.
He must have been all right, the director working with him, because he did the sequel and another film with him.
Yeah, but Dan Aykroyd worked with him multiple times, and there was, what was the one that Chevy Chase did with Dan Aykroyd, not Spies Like Us? There was another one. And
he was in that Nothing But Trouble with John Candy.
Yes, that's the one that Dan Aykroyd directed, right? Yeah. And he said that Chevy Chase was a pain in the ass in that.
Yeah, major.
He said it was a real pain in the ass because of the style of comedy that he wanted to bring in. It just wasn't anything.
Yeah. Big team all there.
Yeah.
Spies Like Us, yeah. It is good, Spies Like Us, yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the part of the reason that I think we picked Chevy Chase is to sort of unpick it a little bit and just go through. It's not so far, guys. We've chosen a lot of actors that have been in a shit ton of just amazing films. This was an interesting one for me. I knew we'd have a lot to say about it, and I still hate him. Fuck him. I'll say it again. Fuck Chevy Chase. Go back to
when I saw that interview with him with the Hollywood Reporter. I went through a range of feelings about him. Where I felt sorry for him. I felt really sorry for him at moments. And then he'd just say something massively arrogant and cunty. And I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to be an apologist for you, but at the same time,
it's like he needs a guy standing next to him all the time saying, I think what Chevy means to say is,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Translate
or somebody stand next to him and just go, inappropriate. It's just like, can't see that.
I love Three Amigos.
Wow, Martin.
You're entitled to your opinion, Martin, but you know.
You're wrong.
Keep it light.
I'll tell you what, Martin, actually, last night I was flicking around on Netflix for something to watch and I noticed Highlander there and I very nearly pressed play, but you know, you do that thing on Netflix now where you click on it and it starts playing you a bit of the movie.
Yeah.
Was the worst fucking sword fighting I have ever seen in my life.
The sword fighting is pretty bad, mate.
Yeah, the bit where Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery in a forest together, and Christopher Lambert literally went with his sword, and then Sean Connery went, Duk, and then they started talking. I was like, nah, this isn't for me, I'm afraid. Sorry, I think it's like Caddyshack, it's just passed me by.
Too late.
We've got a controversial thing here. Hang on.
Sorry, Martin.
Galaxy Quest versus Three Amigos. Why would you do that?
How can you put them against each other? They're not the same people in them. They're both good. The Galaxy Quest is the perfect commentary on Comic-Con, on Star Trek fans, on the ideal wet dream of some guy who's read the manual for a ship that doesn't exist and then needs to tell them. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But Three Amigos, they're apples and oranges, man.
Speaking of Galaxy Quest, have you guys ever seen them Trekkies documentaries?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen
They are so good.
Yeah, they're really good.
But like a really tasty apple and a really tasty orange, though, Webby, right? Yeah. Both very good.
Yeah, both very, very good. Yeah. I think Tim Allen is absolutely fantastic in that movie, and he didn't want to. He apparently resented doing it. He didn't really want to get the piss taken out of him for trying to be Shatner and all this. But I think he's fantastic. I think everybody in that movie is great. Alan Rickman is fucking amazing in that film.
That's what the comparison is. You should have realised
that.
Well, yeah,
okay, yeah. You just leaped ahead.
Oh my God! Man. Yes, of course. Sorry, yes.
We're a little bit slow. You need to start with that.
Wowzers!
Yeah. That's
a really good point.
No
Sorry,
not broth, but we're in the middle of a show, so it's quite hard to think of shit like that. Whenever you try to think of an example of anything, you're like, let me just Google. I'll Google something.
No, that's a very good point. Yeah. Anything else? Anyone else got anything to say about Chevy Chase before we move on?
We're talking about Highlander again now, but remember, Christopher Lambert cannot see without his glass and famously nearly killed a couple of people with the sword. Wow.
Oh, in the real thing.
Yeah.
Martin, I reckon I'd really benefit from watching a no holds barred like documentary on the making of the Highlander, a retrospective. You know what I mean? I don't think I need to see the film. To be honest, I've got a very loose concept of what that film's actually about. But
you
know,
watch it.
I don't want to. Trying to make me watch it.
Do Way's Highlander report then, and come on.
I tried. And Martin, the other thing is, honestly, I haven't even got time to watch films that I've had on my list for weeks and years and years and years at the minute. It's just whatever I can get through the net. We ended up watching that new Pixar yesterday with the kid, that Luca, that just came out on
Disney Channel.
Disney Plus. Sweet. It was a really sweet little film, yeah. It was really good. We all liked it. Good family movie. Good Pixar.
Well, you told me you hated Muppet Babies, the new one. You watched that?
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, guys.
Is it bad? Is it bad?
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, I'm pretty sure the cartoon's probably really bad. I haven't watched it since the 80s. I think it was really great at the time. I loved the fact that in the opening credits, there were a bit where they run through Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I never saw that episode where they actually did that. I don't know if it was just filler for the...
No, it were in it.
It was a lost episode.
I saw that one. But yeah, all the characters are different. They've got a new, it's a penguin called Summer. It's really weird.
Get Robin to watch Highlander.
We can watch it together one day.
Mate, you watch Loch Ness.
You don't have to make me watch that. I love Loch Ness. I don't love Loch Ness. I don't. It's not one of my faves. Yeah, sorry. I don't think I can watch Highlander.
Best Ted Dancer films next week.
If you guys have a suggestion of a genre or an actor or a sort of type of film that you would like us to do a best or worst of, so it could be
not Christopher Lambert.
Not Christopher Lambert. But yeah, it could be a series of computer games, or it could be a games console, or a period in time of films, or it could be like best really action films or something like that.
Or a really, really obvious film that we should have covered ages ago that we just forgot.
Well, no, best and worst would be not retrospective.
Best and worst French New Wave.
yeah.
Best and worst poems.
Okay.
Yeah, brilliant.
No, all right.
Could do. I mean, we could do.
Keep it geeky.
There's some geeky poems out there, I'm sure. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, feel free to get involved.
One is Baldrick's Blackadder poem.
That is genius. That is genius.
It is very good. It is very, very good.
Always remember the spies like the doctor. Yeah, that is great.
Nice.
So, gentlemen, Tomb Raider games, all three eras. Whoa.
So if I've played the most recent incarnation of Tomb Raider,
You've been really enjoying that, haven't you?
Yeah, man, they were all right. Yeah, they're very Uncharted-y.
If we did do that, we should get your Dan on, because I know he's a fan of the Tomb Raider games, isn't he?
He liked the newer ones, but not entirely sure.
Best worst Hammer House.
Nice, good suggestion. Good suggestion.
I don't know if I've seen enough of them to pick a best and worst, though.
Speaking of something that I haven't seen in a long time,
guys, I've got to go. Can you give me?
Cool. Yeah. We're gonna go. We're gonna have a little chat about. Well, in fact, we don't even need to do that then. If Webby's, that's fine. You go. It's right. There we go. So, Lummy, if you were, did you watch any of Community?
Yeah, I've watched the first 2 series, I think.
Okay. So what did you think of Chevy Chase's performance in that?
I thought they were all right. I mean, regardless of all the backstage nonsense, I thought they were all good in it. I thought they all obviously they picked them for the different ages and everything, haven't they? So it was.
I think the part was written for Chevy Chase. I think Dan Harmon wrote that part for him. But I was watching a thing where they were all on stage together, and this is the thing. He would say things that were really rude, but were designed to make people laugh. So apparently, Dan Harmon said that as he was walking away, he heard Chevy Chase turn around to one of the other actors and go, I wonder what it's like to be gay and Jewish. Like that. And Dan Harmon was like, overheard him say it. And he was like, oh my God, Chevy Chase said this about me. And it's that thing. So I'm just wondering whether there's an element of them laughing up his bad behavior and then him seeing that thinking it's acceptable, as time went on, or whether he's just a really rude.
I don't know. I mean, you
don't like thinking about rude Chevy Chase, do you?
Well, it's just it's an unanswerable thing, isn't it? Because you don't know unless you know him, I guess, unless you are him. Because people do stuff like that for different reasons, don't they? He might be a total rude asshole, but there's also the other side of it. Like Webb was saying, if he's really nice to his fans, you think, well, if he was just a rude asshole, surely he'd be like that to everybody, and especially people who were hounding him for autographs and things.
Yeah.
So, but it's odd, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe
because he's been rude from an early. Sorry, man.
I'm going to say, is it that style of his comedy
that's what
some people just do get? Don't think it's funny and they get offended or what? Because there are other people who do say he's like Goldie Hawn. I think is a person who
he's worked with her quite a few times. Yeah, exactly.
Been in films, and she went on. He did a chat show. I don't know if you know about this. He did like a chat show that just tanked in ratings.
Oh, 4 weeks. Yeah. The Chevy Chase show. Yeah.
But even that, it looked like you were trying to have a good laugh on it, and you think, if you're a complete arsehole, he'd probably just, drive it into the ground and get paid for it, and So I don't know really.
But it's that thing, isn't it? Because I was wondering whether it was old man's cantankerous shocker, but actually there are plenty of examples in his early career, where he was foul to work with, and a lot of the stories that I hear, it does seem to come across. And when I heard him talk about the on the Hollywood Reporter thing, so a lot of the stories you hear it does seem to be jealousy. It does seem to be professional jealousy. And then on that Hollywood Reporter thing, he was like, look, thing is, I don't care what anyone says about me because that's just about a period of my life. Fact of the matter is, they're jealous because I'm the funniest man in the room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, you're not helping. I was really trying to, dude, So I genuinely think it's that thing that he's known as this funny man. He's put all his pride. He's put his body on the line as well to be this funny man. When you think of all the stunts, all the pratfalls that this guy's taken. I mean, in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, when he's punching that Santa, he broke his finger doing that. It's just he's got to have gotten injured a lot with the physical style of comedy that he gave us. I just feel like, you know, he's put everything into that, and so any bitterness comes across is that.
Not to make excuses at all for people, but I've got his book, Chevy Chase's book, about his.
Okay.
He had a terrible childhood, you know. His mother used to beat him, I think, and lock him in the cellar and stuff like that.
Yes,
So,
yeah, I did read.
So, you know, you read all that and you think, oh, God, you know, what a horrible time of it and everything. But, you know, it's like you say, it's not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you're going to be a prick, does it? When you grow up. But I don't know, you know, you kind of think, you know, he hasn't had a great time, you know, as a child. So I don't know. Is it his way of, I don't know.
Somebody's been bullied growing up to be a bully.
Yeah, maybe.
Well.
I don't know. There's a lot to be said for that, isn't there? But who knows?
It's funny. Shall we move on to Lord of the Rings and let Webby catch us up when he gets here, because he might not.
Yeah, Matt has just said that. I think he's just an eccentric Hollywood type. Yeah,
I think there's that as well.
And the fact that he did one season of Saturday Night Live and then just went off, and you know, I mean, the fight that broke out with him and Bill Murray, they've always said that it was John Belushi who started that. You know.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. They've said he was like egging him on because Chevy Chase come back, Bill Murray with a new kid
on the block.
And he John Belushi apparently was sat there like egging him on to fight each other. So
that's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. Should we take Webby out of the picture a sec while we're doing this?
Yeah, where's it? I don't know where he's gone.
I think there's something going on with Robin, so there we are. So getting back in when. So Lord of the Rings, Robbie. When was the last time you watched Lord of the Rings?
It's been a while now. Yeah, I remember him though. I remember him quite well. I've seen him a few times. I've seen the extended one a couple of times.
Right. Are we just covering the 3 Lord of the Ring films, or are we covering the 6 films in total, including the Hobbit as well?
Until Webb comes back, why don't we talk about the Hobbit, because he didn't want to. So
okay, really? Okay, but that's great, because I prefer the Hobbit to Lord of the Rings, and I know that that's probably controversial to some people, but I actually preferred the Hobbit book to the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well.
Do you think that the Hobbit? Do you think it needed to be 3 films? Because this is the big thing.
No, I think it needs to be 2 films. That is an issue. You're right, but I found myself bored a lot less in the Hobbit than I did in Lord of the Rings. I just think those endless scenes with elves. For me, when I was a kid growing up, painting lead miniatures and things like that, and playing Warhammer, elves were these fucking cool things, you know. And I get it. I get the snobbishness behind what we perceive to be snobbishness, the eliteness of elves and things like that. I just found that the way that they were portrayed in those films were just really boring. It was just a massive yawnathon through all of. Even Legolas, as cool as he is in his fight scenes and things like that, just found his arc really boring as well. Whereas dwarfs are fucking cool.
What about did you think so? Like the Hobbit, obviously Legolas was in that, and it gave him a bit of an origin. Well, a bit of a before the Lord of the Rings thing. What do you think about that? I liked it.
I thought it was a slight deviation away from the book, but I just enjoyed it. I think the Hobbit. The thing about the Hobbit, the book, it was written more for children.
Yeah,
you know, and it is a really fun adventure. You know, it's just a fascinating magical tale, and it's really sort of digestible. Lord of the Rings, the same, but I just got bored with Lord of the Rings more than I did the Hobbit. I think the effects also are that much better in the Hobbit because of time. I know other people don't agree. A lot of people
interesting
like
that you're saying that, because I don't think they are. I think the actual ones in Lord of the Rings are better, even though it's, you know, before it's very
because they relied more on makeup and things like that in Lord of the Rings as opposed to technology. No, I agree with that aspect.
There might be a reason as well. When the Hobbit films came out, they were experimenting with all this like 4K and everything, weren't they? So everything, I don't think they'd quite got, you know, like they had to change. You'll know this. They had to change the makeup aspect, isn't there? Because everything you could see everything more.
Yeah,
and I think when you watch The Hobbit, you can tell that they haven't quite figured out how to kind of get the next level of stuff up. I think the sets look a lot more faker in The Hobbit myself. But
really, it hasn't struck me at all. I haven't really considered that. I think Smaug is brilliant. I think, again, a lot of people weren't.
Oh yeah,
I knew that it was going to be an unpopular.
There's stuff like that look amazing. Yeah, the dragon looks great. You know, there's no denying that. And all the thing with the gold and all that, where eye opens and all. There's all that. But like that, the thing that I remember is that town. You know, the lake town.
Yeah.
A lot of that. I just think the CGI looked really poor on it. You know, I don't know. I just seem to remember.
I often wonder whether some of these things depend on what sort of TV you're watching it on as well, and what your settings are. Because I remember watching a lot of the stuff in Game of Thrones, and being convinced. I was just like, "What the fuck is this pixely as shit? All these nighttime scenes." But I just had it on the wrong settings on my TV. You change the dynamics of it, and suddenly you didn't have all these blocks of black that were cropping up all over your screen. So I do wonder whether that has got any effect on it. What do you think about? So, did you read the books?
I read The Hobbit, the first, the book.
Yeah.
I've not read the Lord of the Rings ones. Yeah, but the Hobbit, like you say, I think it's written in a different kind of style, and it's more for kids. I think the book definitely.
Peter Jackson, what was he doing before he did Lord of the Rings films?
He did. They were making like low budget horror stuff, wasn't he? And then he progressed to. He made The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. You remember that?
Oh my God! Yeah.
Made a film with Kate Winslet and what's her name? Heavenly Creatures.
Let's have a look.
What's the name? I see a face. Can't remember the name.
Heavenly Creatures. Let's have a look. It will see here. It is Melanie Linsky, Kate Winslet, Sarah Pierce, Diana Kent.
Right. I thought it was somebody else, but yeah, Kate Winslet. I'll just get his. What did he do? He did. I'm just getting his thing up as well. Have a quick look. But I'm trying to think what he did. He did Bad Taste. That's it. So that's quite. That was kind of a film that launched him on the circuit. But before that, you look at his filmography, and there's not a lot on it. Obviously did Tintin with Spielberg later on, King Kong, things like that. But before Lord of the Rings, his listing is The Frighteners, Heavenly Creatures, Brain Dead, Meet the Feebles. If you've ever seen that, that's like an adult Muppet show, basically.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's a film. It's quite good. Quite funny. It's like, and I wonder if Webb's seen it, actually. I've seen that.
But he didn't really appear on many people's sort of lexicon until Lord of the Rings, and the budgets that you got to play with and the kind of respect. So some of the comments that have come through. So, Martin, I think he's gone to deal with something to do with Robin, his son. But maybe he has. Let's have a look. Back to Chevy Chase, an eccentric Hollywood type who believes his own hype. Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of truth to that, and there's probably the truths are probably varying and many in number. Because I don't think you can just pin it all onto one reason why he's like this.
Yeah, we've got a few. Let's have a look at this. So I've still got Lego Elves. Never really took up. Ninjago did.
Actually, was there a Lord of the Rings Lego?
Yeah, they did some. Yeah.
So really, I didn't realize.
Yeah, but there was. I think there was a series Lego Elves. I think that's what
right
means.
Oh, okay, I see. What you mean.
But yeah, they did some Lego Lord of the Rings. Matt and Cameron, they threw the female elf in the films.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought it's funny where they diverged away from the books. It was quite obvious, and I get it. There were some things that they did that you get the idea of introducing Merry and Pippin a bit earlier, and all that kind of makes sense. And the books are so involved; they're so huge that they had to cut a lot out of the books. Of course, they had to cut a lot. Out of the films. It was just some interesting decisions. I just felt that The Hobbit felt much more like a complete film to me. A much more complete story. Yeah.
It's interesting. So, shall we lay Lord of the Rings Extended Edition? Oh, his back is Web around the time. There we go.
Webby! Yeah, I agree. You're absolutely right, Big T. The work with all those extras, fantastic. It's such a huge job as well.
Is that guy you just mentioned? Is that the guy who shouts when he's on that? Says me shouting. There's a guy on the documentaries. He's brilliant. He goes, "Oh, when we were doing this, we were." It's like
I haven't seen that.
I know what you mean. He's a producer or something, and he's a bit. It's like he's always on loud, like you say.
Yeah.
But it's quite matter of fact and quite boring.
No, he's all right.
He did do King Kong as well. You're absolutely right.
Which again, that talking about length of films. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, how long is this film?"
I don't know what I've missed here, but we're talking
about not an awful lot.
We talked about Hobbit because I knew you weren't bothered about talking about.
Whereas I prefer the Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings. I prefer the book, the Hobbit, to the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well. But I just think that the Hobbit is in more.
What? Hang on, what?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
The Hobbit trilogy, which wasn't supposed to be a trilogy, you prefer to Lord?
I don't. No, we've covered the fact that it didn't need to be a trilogy, but I prefer the Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings, and I prefer the Hobbit book to the Lord of the Rings books.
Oh, okay. So you're the person those films were meant for. That's good. I thought it was somebody else.
That's fine. Maybe so, but that's absolutely fine. You know,
no, fair enough, man.
I
know I'm a little.
The reason I didn't. Okay, let me just figure out the reason I didn't like Lord of the Rings was it was. I don't think they handled the elves properly. All those elf scenes were just overly extended. As Martin's said, throwing the elf ladies in to appease certain types of geek as well. I just think that they bored the shit out of me, all those long elf scenes. And I found Lord of the Rings slightly more boring. I just didn't have me on the edge of my seat as much as The Hobbit did.
Holy fucking crap. I am completely in a different ballpark to you. So when I worked at Stir Century Cinema and Lord of the Rings came out, Fellowship of the Ring, sacrilegious, I know, but I didn't have any frame of reference. I'd never read them, never really. Everybody that had ever told me about them seemed to say, with a caveat, that they're boring as fuck as well. So when I watched Fellowship of the Ring, not only was I not expecting to be blown away, I wasn't expecting to be impressed so much that I have to go and read the fucking books in between that and the next film coming out. That's what I did. I read the entire trilogy in between it and I loved it. So then when Two Towers came out, I was ready. Do you know what I mean? Going back to the extended editions, it's like Peter Jackson crawled inside my fucking brain and thought, what does this guy want me to do for him? And he literally improved every fucking single stick. I remember getting the Blu-ray, the DVD at the time, and opening it up, and every scene had a star next to it. If it had a star next to it, it had additional footage put in. If it had 2 stars, it was a brand new scene, and it was just like boom, 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 star, double star. I was just absolutely blown out of the water. I absolutely adore those films, and I know they're a little bit. They've suffered the test of time with some of the CGI, and that the 4K remasters haven't gone down quite as well as Peter Jackson hoped they were, because some stuff looks really good, but some stuff still looks really shit. But just after waiting a year to see that second film, and then they threw Gollum at me, I was just blown away. Yeah. Absolutely blown away.
I really, you've got, even casting wise, all the cast's great in it. All the characters work really well, I think. Sean Connery was going to be originally Gandalf, wasn't he? But he turned it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how weird would that have been? I don't know.
That would have been.
I was thinking about when I knew we were doing this, I was thinking, what would some of the lines sound like? You're Sherlock Ash.
Have you heard as well that, obviously
exactly when he chooses.
Obviously, Christopher Lee championed himself to be in these movies, being such a massive fan of the book. One of my favourite bits from the behind-the-scenes stuff is him telling Peter Jackson, spoiler alert, at the bit where Saruman gets stabbed in the back by Wormtongue or Wormtail, what's he called? Grisha Wormtongue. Yeah. He gets stabbed in the back on the top of the tower, and he apparently went up to Peter Jackson and was like, I know exactly what he would sound like getting stabbed. And he did it, and he just went, oh. And that's what he kept it in the movie. It's just really good. But yeah, I love those films, man. And as for, I don't think. All right, boring. I think is a wrong choice of words for me, personally speaking, because for me, they're not boring. Have you fallen asleep, Gittins, or is your camera still?
No.
They're not boring. They are long. I'll grant you that. But you know, if they cut it up into 6 parts for people that can't handle a 4-hour movie, I'd totally agree with you.
No. I just found I only found the elf. The sections with the elves. Elves, I was saying to Lummy, I get it. I get the characteristics of an elf, particularly a wood elf, and I get the that they look down upon everybody else, and that there's like a snobbiness, a sneeringness to them. But I didn't like the portrayal of them compared to. And I know they're very faithful to the books, but there's a lot more characteristics of the elven lore that I don't feel like Peter Jackson could have pulled on to make a very long film funnier. Not funnier, sorry. I've just somebody's written funny in the comments. To make a really long film more entertaining.
I don't think that is the fault of the filmmaker. I think it's something built into the way elves are in the books. Like you say, they are quite faithful to the books. However, my problem with the elves is they've not really done justice in the film very much, because the main champion for them is Orlando Bloom, and he's the worst fucking actor in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are bits literally where he says things that you're like, what? Those tones don't go together at all in it. They don't. He's for me, in the 9 core of your fellowship, he's the weakest one. You know, I could take the cheesy hobbits with the different accents and they can't pin the accent down. Some of them are Scottish, some of them are fucking Welsh, Yorkshire, whatever. That's fine. That's all fine.
That didn't bother me at all, because there is a weirdness to hobbits, and you're like, yeah, that's fine. They're just their own idiosyncratic little breed, and I get that. Yeah,
I haven't got time for people who miss the point of the book as well, and are like, well, hobbits are just gay, aren't they? They're just meant to be gay. I'm like, hang on a minute. They're not really, are they? Like, they're not afraid of having a cuddle when somebody's feeling a bit down. I'm a bit like that, you know. So I think I'm part of it. Yeah, man. I'd love to cuddle you right now, Lummy. You look like you need a serious cuddle.
Dwarf, you know.
Yeah, there's some great lines.
It's 9 hours of walk. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Dave from Mooch TV. Hello, Dave.
Hey, up.
All right.
Dave, how you doing, man?
That is one of the funniest fucking jokes in that movie. It's a really good comparison where you've got the Lord of the Rings fan and the Star Wars fan having an argument. And he does the impression. It's great, but I don't care. I loved them. I loved where they were filmed. I loved the location shooting on that film is amazing. One of the reasons I watched the extras on that.
New Zealand is stunning.
No, I don't often watch the extras, but I wanted to see the stuff about location scouting. I wanted to see the dedication they put into the prop making in this film is unrivaled, man. It's absolutely unbelievable, the dedication went to.
The extras are boring as well, because sometimes you do watch stuff and you know where the kind of sugarcoat stuff, don't they, a lot on these extras? You know, it's pre-packaged and you watch. A classic example of that is the new Star Wars extras. You never see all a bit gritty in there. It's all like Disney-fied and
exactly.
Send them that. I want to see Mark Hamill arguing with Ryan Johnson about his character. Shove that on there, you know.
Yeah,
but a lot of the Rings, they do feel like they've put like everything on there.
Okay, there are a couple of films.
You're absolutely right, Martin.
Where do I die?
A couple of examples of the dedication to the lore of Lord of the Rings, and that is like chasing down that reclusive artist. I think he's called Alan Lee, and he did the original artwork for most of the Lord of the Rings books, and he lived in a fucking hermit house in the middle of Cornwall. I went to track this guy down and begged him to come and do the film, and he designed everything from the fucking massive, gigantic castles and set pieces to sword hilts and belt buckles, everything. It's fucking
amazing.
The artwork is beautiful. His pencil work is fantastic. One of the sweetest things about it, I can't remember who the actress is. Oh yeah, the girl who plays Eowyn, the Australian actress. Apparently, she fell in love with her horse. She just loved the horse. She really wanted to keep it. And afterwards, when the horse wrangler stopped making the film, he let them know that a few of these horses were up for sale. And she was absolutely gutted because she couldn't afford the horse. And then fucking Viggo Mortensen bought her the horse. He's such a sweet guy. And he only got the part at the last minute. He was reading the script on the plane. Somebody else was meant to be playing him.
Somebody did play it. They got fired.
Oh, really?
Fired, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
So,
a little interesting factoid as well.
Hear about the Peter Jackson did such a good job with The Lord of the Rings and was so faithful to Tolkien's work. Not looking forward to the Amazon Studios' new TV show. So it's been more like Game of Thrones.
I'm with you on that because I'm worried.
I do wonder what this Lord of the Rings TV is going to be like, and if they have any of the characters. Because it's more of a prequel, isn't it? To
there's already prequels out there, man. J.R.R. Tolkien was no slouch when it came to his own material. He wrote he wrote fucking entire histories. He wrote futures. He wrote past.
Finish.
Stuart Townsend that got fired. I wonder if
there you go.
Why he got fired.
But there's loads of little things like that about it that keep me interested. I absolutely love those films. I have to watch them once every year, and I always watch the extended editions because for me, the other ones don't compare. It's like watching a really heavily edited version. The extra scenes they put in Gittins were worth it. They told the story more. And you got to look at things like they did something with this movie that people have been trying to do for ages, and that was make a fully believable CGI character that ran throughout the whole fucking season, throughout the whole films. And so a lot of the CGI mocap stuff is directly down to Peter Jackson and Weta Studios, Weta Workshop. Do you know what I mean? We wouldn't be anywhere without what they did with Gollum on those movies.
I should just probably qualify at no point I said that I didn't like Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings. It's great. But I actually, just to fill the time when you had to disappear, I prefer The Hobbit to Lord of the Rings. I just, I'm
right. I'm just reading
the book as well.
This guy got fired basically just the day before he was going to start filming because Peter Jackson decided he wanted an older actor playing him.
Wow.
That's it. Wow. They didn't pay him. They didn't pay him anything. So he trained for months. Yeah, that's what it says. Trained for months, and they just said they didn't want
I can't picture this guy's face, Stuart Townsend, but it sounds familiar. I wonder if he's been in anything else. I bet he's gutted now. I also like the sweetness of the fact that the actors that were playing the Fellowship became the Fellowship, and they got matching tattoos. They were in touch all the time. That really turdy show that came out in lockdown last year called Reunited Apart with Josh Gad.
Yeah.
The fucking Lord of the Rings one is beautiful. The love they have for each other. They miss each other. Do you know what I mean? Even Liv Tyler, who's like the biggest star out of all of them, they were so sweet with each other even now. And they all had little stories to tell. It's great.
So Stuart Townsend went on to do Queen of the Damned and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Wow, okay. So yeah,
Ian McKellen as Gandalf though as well. I mean,
amazing casting. Gollum is amazing. Like that whole scene where Gollum is responding to himself, and he is where he's responding to himself in that schizophrenic way, and it's just 1 second he's happy, and he's having the conversation with himself. It's just brilliant. Yeah.
So apparently the Netflix series is going to take Amazon, is going to take viewers back to an era in which great powers were forged. Kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin. Unlikely heroes were tested. Hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all of the world in darkness. Beginning in a time of relative peace, the series follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new. I know, I think Martin or Big T was asking if there's going to be any new characters, any of the original characters. So old and new will be in it.
Gandalf,
as they confront the long-feared re-emergence of Middle-earth, of evil to Middle-earth, from the darkest depths of the Misty Mountains to the majestic forests of the elf capital of Lindon to the breathtaking islands. So it seems like it seems like it's just kind of setting up.
Gandalf, Ian McKellen's out on record as saying, "I'm in. If they don't have me in this thing, I'll be pissed off." He's up for it. Gandalf's supposed to be quite old. Can't remember exactly how old, but older than Aragorn, who's like 8. I can't remember the ages. It's been a long time, but I think he's inhumanly old. He might be 120, but he looks like he's 40. Do you know what I mean? and Gandalf's something like 800 years old. So hopefully, you never know. Back when he was Gandalf the Grey.
I'm watching the cinema and then some lass shouted out, "That's a stupid way to end it." And I put
Yeah. But it is, do you know, one thing about this movie that does annoy me is it feels like it takes as long as the books to wrap up. I know they've got a lot of characters, a lot of things going on in the book. It takes forever for them to get back to the Shire, and when they do,
the Shire, there's the end, isn't there, with the all Saruman and that.
Saruman and Grisha are there, and they're tearing the shit up. And they have to do it again. But yeah, I mean, the ending, I love the ending, but it's just a bit like it ends and then it ends again, and it keeps ending a bit more, and but there's some truly fantastic bits in this.
Got to say as well, the music in this Howard Shore.
Yes, the music is stunning in this series of films. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. You're right. You're absolutely right. It is gorgeous, and it's really nice when I listen to a lot of Classic FM and they do the movie soundtracks, and whenever the Hobbit music comes on, it's just like it's nice. It's really feels like home. Something really lovely about it.
Yeah.
So, what's your favourite out of the three? I prefer the Fellowship.
I love the third one.
Yeah, me too. I think third one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I mean, this is a really good example of somebody being prepared with his production as well. When they made this, the first, I think it was the first week of shooting, there was like a torrential rain or something. So they went and, you know what a cover set is, don't you? Where they've got something ready just in case bad weather. They went and filmed something out of the third film.
Wow! Holy shit!
No, whoa. Yeah. The first week, they filmed from the third film, but they did it. The entire shoot was done as one shoot, wasn't it? It was epic. They filmed all three fucking movies like back to back without a break. Peter Jackson lost so much weight, he thought he was dying. He was so stressed out by it. He swore he'd never return to the world, but then he didn't trust anybody else to tell the Hobbit story.
Do you know how he got this job? Because his credits, we just had a look, there's not much to it before he did.
He got the job because him and his wife, Fran Boyens, is it? She helped him write it, and their script was so fucking strong and so faithful to the book, yet without taking... It didn't include everything from the book. That is impossible, and for good reason, because some of it is waffle. There are pages and pages of fucking songs about moss and shit.
Yeah.
It's not all amazing reading. It's amazing writing, but it's not all amazing to read. However, they were so passionate about it that it was just common knowledge that nobody else really wanted to do it, man. Nobody else had the balls to do it. Everybody said it couldn't be done. They'd avoided doing it for years because it's such a complex, set of books. So what do you include? What do you leave out? For example, Sauron, the bad guy in our version of the movies, he's a little pussy compared to the real bad guy who they're going to tell a story about in the Amazon series, the guy that came before it.
Lenny Henry has been cast in the Amazon series.
He's probably playing that bad guy. I can see that.
Right.
I could see him playing a really bad. Yeah. All right, cool.
It's supposed to be the most expensive series ever made, isn't it?
Well, it cost them $250 million to get the rights from the Tolkien estate to do it, and they've been told. So the budget is $450 million for the first series, which compares to the estimated $90 million that Game of Thrones season 8 cost, or $15 million an episode is going to cost.
I mean, they're kind of setting themselves up for a fall, aren't they, if it's not good?
Well, they've been told by the Tolkien estate that they can only film Second Age events. They can't contradict anything that Tolkien did say. It must be canonical. It is impossible to change the boundaries that Tolkien has created, but you can add new characters and ask a lot of questions like, what has Sauron done in the meantime? And where was he and Morgoth defeated? Theoretically, Amazon can answer these questions by inventing the answers, since Tolkien didn't describe it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing being done by Amazon kind of leaves a bit of an icky taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, of course.
But we'll see. I mean, I hope that they can throw enough money at it to make it work. But
It's always about money, though, is it? It's...
What would you do if it was all Amazon product placement all the way through it?
yeah.
The time travel element. So like somebody keeps coming in and just with a toaster.
Just get a couple of rings of power on Amazon deal of the day.
Yeah. Which way are we going? Alexa, which way is north?
Yeah, man, it's one of those films that when it's sad, it makes you feel something. When it's funny, it makes you laugh. When it's exciting, it makes your heart race. You know, and it's a great story.
Bit, then what's the bit where you go?
Oh, mate, the saddest bit that actually got a tear out of me is the bit that wasn't in the original cut of Fellowship of the Ring, when they get to the Mines of Moria and Sam has to say goodbye to his pony, Bill.
Yeah.
It's the bit that makes everybody cry in the book, but it made me cry in the film because he's saying goodbye to this horse. In the book, it's better because he's obviously got more time to tell you about the relationship between him and this pony, you know. But in the film, that was the bit that made me tear up a bit.
I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to get upset by things when people have to say goodbye to things that they love. It just it always cuts me up. Yeah, it just cuts me up. It does. For me, the thing that I
sorry, go on.
No. It was slightly left wing. The thing that I loved about Lord of the Rings was the sort of reinvention of Sean Astin. You know, the fact that I hadn't seen anything from this guy for years. Since the Goonies, really, and then suddenly. Here he is, and it's just it's that guy. It's the guy from the Good. Brilliant. And it was, I love that.
They pulled it off. I mean, that performance is, it's just good. It just works for the character he's doing. I tell you something else about it. What bit makes you sad, Lummy? Before I tell you the bit that makes me laugh every time.
I like the bit where he actually says to him, doesn't he? What does he say? I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You know, and he picks him up and he goes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful bit.
If you two ever needed a ring taking to Mordor, I'd pick you up.
I know you would. But I'd go for Gittins is a bit lighter than me. The bit that makes me laugh every single time, and it's just got sort of almost inappropriately farcical moments in it, and it's the bit where Peregrine Tuck knocks the bucket into the well in the mine, and the chain and the bucket fall down, and they just keep falling for about 5 minutes, and you just hear this chain echoing on it. Fool of a duck, and it's just fucking great. It's just it just cracks me up, and it's just look in his eyes.
Sean being hit by millionaires. I tried to take the ring from the little one.
Oh.
Yeah, man, poor Sean Bean. Hey, somebody should write a song about the fact that that guy's died in so many movies.
Where's the song? Can't we play it? No, can't we?
Well, we own it. We own it.
Oh,
we can play it when we
will
want.
They
can play it whenever you want.
Yeah, what was that thing he did? 1, 2, touch the ground, spin around. Copyrighted.
Turn around, touch the ground. Copyrighted.
Close the song to ourselves. We should have closed out the show with the Sean Bean song.
Yeah. Also, it must be noted that Lord of the Rings isn't the kind of thing you can cover in half an hour at the end of a show, is it? It's a biggie.
That's why I was wondering whether we were going to do The Hobbit as well, because it is 18 hours of Hobbits.
Not together, but to be fair to The Hobbit, I need to rewatch those. I've only seen them all once because I just didn't. Everything that Lord of the Rings got right, they got wrong.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too much. There were things that didn't exist in the book that really annoyed the fans.
Yeah, that's true.
And things that happen over the course of about 3 minutes in the book that they extended to for about 25 minutes. I think famously the barrel sequel, the barrel sequence, where they're all going down the water shooting elves and stuff, or orcs, rather. But there were some cool things in it. But then fucking Legolas shows up again. You're like, dude,
we were talking about. Yeah, exactly. We did. Yeah, these are things that we touched upon, and they
I tell you what I do like about the movies, about the Hobbit movies. I think that Martin Freeman and Gandalf, fantastic. Yeah, but for me, too many dwarves spoil the dwarf stew.
See, I prefer give me dwarfs over. Okay, give me Peter Jackson's dwarfs over Peter Jackson's elves any day. I find that they're just a lot funnier, a lot more entertaining, a lot more to them. Whereas the elves, I get it. That there is this prestigious,
really, didn't they?
Yeah, there's this prestige to being an elf, and I get that. I get it.
And it must be said that although they are the weakest part of the story, or the part that you should care about, but there's something not quite right there.
Yeah.
Like when you see
about the elves.
When you see them all leaving, they're all leaving Middle Earth to go to their homeland because they know that the shit's about to hit the fan and they don't want to fight. However, Elrond and Legolas, whenever you see them in a fight scene, they are fucking badass. Absolutely stunningly done.
That's exactly what I was saying. I didn't like Orlando Bloom's portrayal of Legolas, but as a fighter, it was brilliant every time because that was the thing that he was there for, right? It's
It's a show.
So they got that spot on. Yeah, no, absolutely. How long ago was it that you watched the Hobbit films?
Whenever they came out.
Okay, so
I've never seen the extended editions either, which might make a difference to somebody like me who's looking for that little bit extra and stuff.
Okay. How are we doing with comments about Lord of the Rings, Lummy? We got anything?
Billy Connolly.
Yes, I forgot about that. That was brilliant.
I tell you who else is awesome as well, who you never see anymore. Sylvester McCoy is great in this movie. These movies, as what's he called?
Radagast, is it?
Radagast the Brown. Yeah, Radagast.
Yeah,
he was great.
Like the forest wizard, the nature wizard. Yeah.
And I like the pickup they do in this one where all of a sudden in Lord of the Rings, they're walking through the woods and they come across the 3 stone trolls.
Yeah.
And in this, you find out how they got turned into stone. That's pretty cool. But yeah, just something a little bit more noticeably CGI about it. Noticeably,
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. That it is a shame that they cut away from so many of the makeup special effects, but it's that invention of 4K, isn't it? That suddenly started to make it all look a little bit out of date or obvious.
I don't know. I mean, for the longest time, I used to tell people that the CGI in Lord of the Rings holds up quite well, and in some places it does, but in some places it's really bad still. Especially when you're watching it on Blu-ray or 4K, and you can see it more. You can just see that it's it's a scene. But what an achievement! What an achievement!
Yeah. Oh god, insane!
People said could never be done.
I didn't realise that they'd done all 3 in one go. That's remarkable.
Well, allegedly, I don't know if I'm right on this. I probably shouldn't say it, but allegedly, that's why they didn't give it any Oscars until the last film, because they counted it as one production.
Right.
So every time it went to the Oscars, and people were like, "What the fuck? Lord of the Rings has got dick all here." And then it went to the last one. It got like 9 Oscars, but just for Return of the King. So it totally cleared up. So I think they exempted it from the Oscars, or they made it exempt from the Oscars because technically they classed it as one production. I might have made that up, but it sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah,
that does sound pretty good. Yeah, man, that sounds good. Anything that you guys want to add before we finish up the show tonight?
Only that I should probably write a list as we're doing the show of all the stuff I want to watch now. Because Lord of the Rings is definitely on there. By the way, I am playing through the Arkham games after we talked about those a few weeks ago.
Yes, I can see you doing that, yeah. And I'm starting to get, although this is on a pre-recorded episode, they have no idea about.
Not yet.
No,
not yet.
There we go.
Keep watching, guys. You'll learn all that.
You shall not pass, fair bit.
Oh, mate, that is
my ex-girlfriend.
It's the fly you fools bit that gets me, where I didn't know this were going to happen. I didn't know.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah.
Fall.
Yeah.
And I love the explanation when he comes back as Gandalf the White and he's like, "What happened?" And he goes, "Well, I fell and then I fell again. I fell some more and I fell so far. I fought the Balrog through all these." It's just brilliant. Love it. He ends up fighting the Balrog on the top of a fucking snowy mountain somehow, and it's just weird but beautiful. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just looking around. Apparently, there's a teaser trailer for Jurassic World 3.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll have to go watch that in a bit.
Well, just stick it on now, since you're already fucking Googling in the middle of our show.
I was looking for the Sean Bean song, but I can't get it to come on here. I don't know why. It won't load.
Don't worry, buddy. We'll give them what they want. at some point.
Webby, is there anything that you want to tell people about? Anything that's going on this week? Anything you've seen that you want to recommend?
Yeah, Luca was pretty good. I've been watching Motherland still. That's pretty funny. Where if you like a bit of cheesy reality TV, get yourself some Below Deck in your life. You won't be able to stop watching. It's like crack cocaine.
Are you still watching it?
Yeah, we just started the Below Deck Mediterranean. We're trying to get through that as well.
Oh,
yeah,
God, that's it. I like
that.
Deck Mediterranean. That's the one I like.
I can't honestly. Obviously, you haven't seen it yet, Rich. So I don't want to say too much about it. But I can't tell if I like Loki yet or not. I can't tell.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Did you watch this week's?
It's not out yet.
Well, last week. Sorry, it's Monday now.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I did. I watched episode 2. I like it. I'm just like, do I like this? Is this necessary? What's going on? So yeah, you need to watch that pretty soon, Getting, so we can talk about it. Because
how many episodes? Is there 6? Is there 6 of these?
I'm not sure, man. I think 6. Yeah, I think 6. Yeah, I'm just not sure what's going on yet. I don't know what
I have some theories.
Yes. So yeah,
Kay Herron was saying that she wants it to be like an homage to lots of sci-fi and things that she really, really likes. She wants like architecture from Mad Men in there mixed up with some stuff from some like bits from the
you can totally see. You can totally see that.
Being influenced by loads of stuff that we quite like, and she's trying to sort of pay an homage to that. But it's difficult for me to say because I haven't seen any of it yet.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, well, quicker you watch it, mate. Quicker we can all talk about it. But
all right, cool. Well, I'll get onto that in the next week. So, Lummy, how about you? What's going on this week? Anything you want to plug?
Tomorrow night, I've got my radio show, as always, on Box Office Radio. What's the score? There's some Hobbit music on tomorrow night, actually.
Oh, nice.
A little bit of Hobbit for you. Also, some Monty Python stuff.
Nice.
Oh, it's also worth mentioning how it's awesome that the hobbits just want to party and drink drink beers and let off fireworks and shit. But yeah, that's a bit of a going back a little bit. Yeah. Oh, there's something I've got to recommend, but it's a recommendation for Gittins. This is something I put the first episode of last night, and I was sat there watching it going, oh my God, are they just writing this for Gittins or what? What the fuck? Check out Black Summer on Netflix.
Okay.
I watched episode 1 last night. I'm sure as shit going to be watching the next one. It's basically another zombie show, but it's fucking brilliantly done. Really, really brilliantly done. It makes Walking Dead look like The Walking Dead.
Right. Okay. So actually, I accidentally I clicked on this yesterday because it said that I'm on episode 2, and I'm like, I don't remember watching episode 1, but I'm just wondering if it's something that I fell asleep in.
I'm pretty sure you would remember it because it's one of those that introduces a different character with like a black screen and their name, and then it shows you their scene, and it's all interconnected. But it was really clever, man. Really clever. Really enjoyed it.
Interesting.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Anything else, Lummy? What else is going on? You got Box Office Radio tomorrow. Any gigs coming up?
8 p.m. Just gigs constantly now, which is so if anybody's around about Leeds or Stockton or Bradford or all the other places, you can find them on Discount Comedy. Check out Facebook page. Have a look on there. See if
are they all improv gigs, or are you MCing at all? Or
there's some MC ones. I'm MCing Bradford on Friday night. We've got Saturday the Carriage Works in Leeds.
Nice. Love the Carriage Works. It's a great venue.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in the Carriage Works? Are you on that big stage?
Yeah.
It's a great venue. Love that.
So that's Shoecake Comedy who run that. So a good friend of mine, Phil, he runs that one. So I'm emceeing that.
It's a shame you couldn't get Harrison Ford to come and see Discount Comedy Checkout while he was up north.
Well, we're up in Stockton on Saturday night, so yeah, could have come to that one.
Yeah, I could have done. Might give him a free ticket.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
he's got enough money.
True Yorkshireman.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
He's not getting a free beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking part in this week's discussion. Thank you to Pop Not Broth. Thank you to Big T Moore. Thank you to Martin. Thank you to Mandy. Thank you to Dave from Mooch TV. Is that right?
Yep.
Thank you to Lummy and thank you to Webby. If you've got anything that you would like us to talk about in the show, leave a comment down on our Facebook page or go over to our Twitter page at It's All Geek Twit. Go over to Channel Lum and give him a like and a subscribe. Go over to our It's All Geek to Me YouTube page and give us a like and subscribe. But the best thing that you could do for us, ladies and gents, is to share the shit out of our stuff because that helps the algorithms and it spreads the word and it makes the community a bigger and happier and more knowledgeable place to be. But for now, my name's been Rich, he's been Lummy, and that's been Webby, who's got his finger up because he wants to say something.
One more thing, I've just noticed the comment. I know I'm banned from reading the comments, guys, but this is a good one. Big T Moore, best and worst dystopian films as a topic.
Okay, cool.
So
maybe
like apocalyptic sci-fi stuff or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah, and also
and apparently
I'm right about the Oscars. Thanks,
and the Hobbit trilogy are on Prime at the minute. Sorry, didn't mean to do that, Grimmy. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll be back next Monday at 7:30. But until then, goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Internet.